Hi, and welcome everyone out there in the wonderful world of Twitch. This is John with Rook and Rasp. Hopefully, you can all see us and hear us out there. As always, sometimes it's always wise to do a quick seance to say, "Oh, great Twitch, can you hear us?" Uh, but all things considered, welcome. So, this is Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon for some of you, and this is Seriously Let's Play, where we bring a whole bunch of people from all over, the tabletop RPG industry and gamers and everything else, and we just sit down and say, hey, let's play a game and do something different. All our games are one shots, and occasionally we'll bring one back if people seem to really enjoy it. But by and large, this is all about just having a good time. That said, let's go ahead and introduce the table. My name is John, and most of you probably have seen me on here. I'm one of the GMs and one of the people who runs the channel. But we're going to go around the table, and I'll let everyone introduce themselves. So, Chris.
Oh, geez, starting with me first. Hi, everybody. My name is Chris Hussey. How much should I blather on about myself?
Blather all you want, because
Yeah.
if you don't, I will. Always,
Okay.
everybody, plug your stuff, please.
I am a journeyman podcaster, streamer of some sort. I've been on a few things. I've done a few things. I currently produce two actual play podcasts, both set in the Deadlands universe. One is Deadlands Weird West. One is Deadlands Noir. I've been a freelance writer in the RPG biz since the 90s, including a game called Battletech. I don't know if you've heard of it. Um, and I don't know. I mean, I do a bunch of stuff. Way too much probably is really the healthy answer to give.
Yep, and you're on a game actually with my partner and also channel owner, Rue.
I am, and she is a wonderful player, and I have a really good time. We're doing a, Savage Ravenloft. It is a Savage Worlds adaptation of the Curse of Strahd, combined with Rippers, a Savage World setting. And we're on a bit of a hiatus, but I do believe it is coming back at some point soon. So, and that's over on the CFT RPG channel.
One of our
That
good
sounds like
friends.
fun.
Yeah,
It is. It is great. Alan's an amazing GM, and just the group of players, with the exception of me, are spectacular.
whatever, man. No, that's a great game to watch, and honestly, it is
Mhm.
enjoyable. And the little downtime game that y'all did was amazing to watch.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, good adventure, and they nailed it. It was great.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead. We're going to move on, and Mr. Phil, if you want to introduce yourself.
There. I don't know that there's much I can plug besides the Rook and Rasp community. It's been a lot of fun participating in that and our Wordle challenges and all those other things and the foods that we're cooking, and then getting the opportunities to play in games like this. I think I play a little bit more with mech, where I was kind of the mechs in high school. So I didn't really dive too much into kind of the battle tech and what the characters do, but I'm looking forward to.
I get that, man. But at the same time, I will plug for you that you're also on. It's the Voyages of,
Oh,
and you play in the Star Trek Adventure game under Matt Quiet. So
yeah, I did. It's a lot of fun there too.
awesome, awesome. Well, scrolling down, going clockwise around our group for what the screen is. Let's go ahead, and we're gonna have our newest person joining us today, Corey.
I'm Corey. I have been role playing for about 12 years at this point. I am currently in the recording phase of a D&D podcast that's going to be called Midnight Alley. A whole bunch of college students in Fairhaven and Eberron just running around and trying to prevent the end of the world. Um, I've written a couple of settings for different local indie games. I regularly participate in a game design contest hosted by Okashi Khan and Ninja Hill Productions. And while that's currently in judging, it's been a fun thing. So I've got two games in the works of my own that will eventually make it out of editing. And then I've been part of the Rook and Rasp crew in the Discord for about, what, 4 or 5 months at this point?
Yeah,
So it's not bad to get on this fast.
yeah. Well, thank you so much. We're really, really happy to have you here and joining us. Going around next, last but not least, Sean.
Hey guys, I'm Sean. I'm kind of a regular face around here. I'm on the Voyages of the Star Trek game. I play the Klingon medical officer for the ship. I'm on Illuminated Page. We're on our second series. This time, the Murder on the Orient Express, or the Horror on the Orient Express, I should say. When I'm not here, my other passions are painting minis, gaming. When I'm not being a full-time system analyst, which has been eating up this week. So,
Sounds like fun.
oh yeah, data
Imagine
crunching.
that.
You have a gorgeous background there too. That game shelfie is very impressive.
Thank you. It's
Yeah.
less games, more books and knickknacks and stuff right now.
It's just very nicely arranged.
Oh, thank
It
you.
is. I mean, even that banner is nice, even though it's not my faction.
It wasn't my faction either, but I found it at a store and I'm like, oh, I need it.
Hey, it makes sense.
Story of my life right there. Well,
Neat.
that said, we're kicking off into Battletech, and I'm just going to say there's 40 years of history in this, and we could wax on about that all day long. And I'm not going to. Surprisingly, I'm going to hold myself back. And we can do that after the show and after the game. I will happily talk about Battletech and all my thoughts on it. But we're going to go ahead and kick us off into game. And for those of you out there in chat, or out there in the world of chat, I'm going to go ahead and start up a little bit of little music for y'all. You, our people out there, you'll be able to hear it. So, our story takes place on Solaris VII, which this is in the post-Clan War era. Now, to explain, to my players and my audience really quickly, in the distant future, mankind spread to the stars and lived in relative peace under the leadership of a group known as the Star League. Peace, as always with men, was short-lived, and the galaxy split into groups who ruled over their own quadrant of the galaxy. Worse yet, the descendants of an ancient spacefarers returned, believing themselves the chosen to rule the area of the galaxy that is called the Inner Sphere. Now, they're gone to some extent, and it's business as usual as the great houses who rule mankind are politicking and making war all over again. And really, that's the universe. But it's not our story. Just outside the free world section of the universe, in an area overseen by the Lyran Commonwealth, is a system known as Solaris. And Solaris VII is its largest rocky world, and amazing Earth-like in every way. Here, the great houses of the galaxy have loose coexistence because Solaris VII is the home of the most popular and most desired distraction civilized society has ever known: mech combat. Now, Solaris VII is the Las Vegas of the stars, with all its glamour and glitz, danger and distraction, corruption and crime, and no one would want it any other way. We find our crew wrapping up combat with the number 13 best-ranked mech warrior in the dreaded Ishiyama Arena, also called the Black Mountain. A simulated series of black stone tunnels reminiscent of the battlefield, of millions of moons and asteroids, wide to a man but narrow to a mech, stretching and crisscrossing for over a mile, dotted by stalactite pits, dead ends, and dangerous canyons. Here, any turn could bring about you're immediately into close range with your opponent. It was because of the layout of the battlefield and the blind luck to get directly behind your opponent, Adam Wiley, that you were able to nearly destroy his Hollis Industries Battlemaster. The mech's heat sinks are screaming, and your pilot can now take the time to stalk the now limping battle mech into the darkness. Beyond the scenes of the battlefield, a trillion eyes from every edge of the starry civilization From here to the periphery, watch glued to the screen to see the record-breaking final moment. So let's take this moment to meet our players. Where are they? What are they doing? And in this final moment of this combat. And I'm going to give you all an opportunity to say which of you would like to start and describe what your character is doing. Or should I call on you?
I say we go in reverse order. So Dash, I think, was last. So he should lead us out.
I think it was Raph actually last.
Right? Yeah, Raph was last. So I'm watching our monitors, and what you see is a younger man. He's probably in his late 20s, 5'10", slimish build, but wiry muscles, short hair, because as a mechanic, when you're crawling around the inside of a mech, you do not want your hair getting tangled up in something. It's just going to rip right out. I'm watching monitors, and just kind of every hit, I'm just cringing and just thinking about how many hours it's going to take to do those repairs. And I'm just going to key on the mic and be like, Chester, I swear to God, if you come back with more damage than you've gotten already, that's it. You can fix it. I'm done.
All right. Well, so you're in the pit there with a crew. I will say you do have a crew with you that are probably running around and getting stuff set up for whenever the mech gets back. And probably nearby, or maybe off in the stands, let's go ahead and go over to Luca.
Okay. Luca is probably on their comms, as usual. One ear to whoever's on the comms with them, and the other ear on what's going on in the crowd, just to see what they're saying and how they can spin it for future interviews. Probably making deals. Luca is a very neutrally flamboyant character. They are attention grabbing, but only because the more attention they can get, the more funding they can get for the mech in the field. So, probably in the stands. Go ahead.
I'll actually say that you're on the phone with Hollis Industries, and they're like, hey, can you talk to your pilot and get him to blow off the right arm? We know that it's salvageable at this point and could probably go pretty well, and we could really use the parts.
And I'm assuming the Hollis Industries mech is the one we're fighting and not my mech.
Yes, the battle master that your pilot is trailing behind now is from Hollis Industries.
Okay. So I'll pass that along to Dash is the pilot and Raph is our
yeah,
or do I have that reversed?
So Chester is the pilot, Dash
Chester's
is
the pilot.
The mercenary, who also does
Okay.
we'll get to him in just 1 second. Raph is our mechanic. Yeah.
Okay.
But so you pass that along to Chester?
Yes, I passed that along to Chester. And I'm assuming that Dash can hear me at the same time, but I am passing it on to Chester.
Yeah.
Make it flashy.
All right. Well, Dash, you are also there, possibly in the pit or watching the monitor. Go ahead and give us an idea of what you're doing.
I'm definitely have one eye on some sort of a live monitor of what's going on in the arena. I'm probably in the pit to kind of just see what's going on there. But then I'll have another eye on the screen, kind of being like just double checking loadouts on the Battle Master, that type of thing. Like, is there anything that's going to kind of surprise us, even though we've got this seemingly dominating position or whatever? And all my communications with Chester at this point are pretty short and brief and curt, because Chester didn't follow some advice I gave him earlier, so now Dash is a little frustrated.
All right. Well, going over then to Chester.
So we get a shot of, there's probably like an in-cockpit camera that's being used as part of the broadcast, so you can see the look on the various mech warriors' faces during the duel. And in Chester, he's got it's a newer model Neuro helmet, so it's not like the big huge bucket style that they normally would have had. That all you can see is his face, but you can see like a little bit more of his face, and it fits in a bit more svelte sort of way. And he's Tom Cruise Top Gun handsome, but he's got like an Owen Wilson sort of hairstyle with it's a bit scruffier, and you can only see a couple of sweaty locks that are coming down as far as what's visible. And uh he's it's a little bit dim in here because he's stalking this Battlemaster through these tunnels, but he spits out a chewed up toothpick, and then he has a small row of other fresh toothpicks arrayed kind of in front of him, and he leans forward with his little bit, and he like lip and tongues out, and he grabs a new toothpick and gets it in his mouth um just as Raph is complaining about the damage, and he says, and he bangs his head against the side of the car. I didn't quite catch that, Raph. I'm not sure what you mean. And then he'll purposely like slam his mech into the side wall a little bit, and there's like some screeching noises as he continues to stalk forward. And then that's when he hears Lucas talk about to get the right arm and to make it flashy, and he like turns and looks at the camera and kind of winks. He goes, "I'll make it flashy." And then he starts plodding forward, and Dash is telling him, "Stay in the tunnel you're in again. Stay in the tunnel you're in. Listen to me this time, would you?" And then that's when Chester cuts off on an angled tunnel off to the side, completely ignoring his instructions to go around to try and get a better shot on the Battlemaster.
All right. Well, as you're doing that, you make your way around and you've got that shot lined up. The Battlemaster is in bad condition. You manage to come up behind it and blast through its armor and probably its weakest point. You get the feeling that they want, the pilot's realization is he can't eject. If he injects in here, it goes straight into the ceiling of this tunnel. So he's either looking for someplace to go, or he's trying to limp it back to, get away from you and limp it back to a pit, and hopefully get enough repair done to where he can have systems finish this out.
And this is Adam Wiley that
Yes,
we're
it is.
ever finishing. Yeah. Adam, there's nowhere to go except for down, friend. That's the only place you're going. Just hold still, hold still. Hey, raise that hand, raise that gun arm, would you? Just right there, buddy. Yeah. I'll make it hurt just a little. And then he'll bracket him with his he's got the twin PPCs on the Marauder that he's piloting, and he'll aim and he'll get the right arm as instructed. And then the other one will hit it in its left hip area to hopefully also finally knock it down.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and just for fun, we'll make it that called shot. He's not moving fast enough for too many penalties, but trying to nail that arm is going to be a -3.
Okay. And this is versus my gunnery mech, I'm assuming, yeah.
Yes, it is.
All right. So that's gonna be a straight roll because my gunnery mech is +3.
All right. And he's, with the penalties that he's incurred for his mech, he's not going to roll a success. So all you got to do is beat your target.
And that's the TN column?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so that's a miss, but can I spend some edge to get a reroll, or?
Absolutely.
I have to make this look good, for for the stables, and then also, I mean, all the attention's on me. I gotta take this guy down.
Well, let me double check really quick also, and let's make sure that there aren't any other bonuses that would apply in this situation.
All right.
So you are aiming at the arm. It is a -3. The target size isn't going to affect it. Distance, let's go ahead and say that after that first shot, you're getting up there. He's got very low systems. You can actually get up to point blank range, get a +1 in there on that. And he's got no cover, so that's not going to give him anything else. And yeah.
Well, go ahead. Well, go ahead. Because with my roll, that was still only I missed by 1.
Okay. Even with the roll.
Even with the roll, I got a 5 on my 2d6 roll. And
Right.
with the -3, my +3, that nets out, and then the +1, it gives me just just makes it a 6, and I needed a 7, I
Well,
believe.
the other pit calls across to Luca, and they say, "Hey, let us in on half the cost of that arm, and we will." He'll act like he's drawing on him, and you'll put it into position.
Get 45 on your end. It's a deal.
They all shrug. They weren't going to get anything. So Chester, you get a +2 because he does a friendly action to put himself into position.
Nice. That would make it a hit then, for sure.
All right. So you see, almost like he's some sort of gunslinger. The PPC in that right arm starts to rise up, and it moves ahead of the body, and you get yours directly into position, and hit it at just the right angle. Now he doesn't fall down, doesn't really destroy any of his side actuators, but you do blast that arm off, and for the most part, you might hear the audience over your headphones, but obviously not through the mech walls. There is a cheer going up throughout the entire audience.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, he's still on his feet though, right?
He is still on his feet.
So yeah, Chester is gonna he'll stomp forward, and I'm gonna be taunting at him the whole way. You lost your main gun, boy. You ain't got nothing. You ain't got nothing left. Come on, just you give it up now before the humiliation is too much. You might be able to bounce back from this later. Maybe.
He's like, fine. You hear over the loudspeaker, and his crew all throw down they're throwing things. A few of them toss down the towels. Their representative just peels their headphones off and walks away, and they throw in the towel. Lights come on in the arena, and the battle is over.
Done.
So,
yeah, I'm gonna look at Dash. Like, did you see that? He ran into the wall on purpose. He's just making more work for the crew.
You know, I don't know what we're gonna do with him, but now we can't get rid of him.
Well,
I mean, what we gotta tie our ropes to this. This doesn't happen ever.
just kind of I throw like an oil-soaked rag off and go and walk and talk to my crew. So I'm walking to talk to him. I point out one of them like, when the mech gets back here, do not forget to unload the ammo. You tried to do it last time, it almost blew the arm off, and just start making a list of repairs to do.
All right. Well, so the combat ends, and the moment that happens, for the first time, just as it has been in every step of your rise through the top 20 mech warriors, as a non-aligned warrior, you've overcome one of the greatest and one of the warriors supported by a stable. Your comrades from the Black Lions are going to, when you arrive, they all rush out to shake your hand and, just congratulate you. But you do arrive back, getting everything together. Luca, they, all together, you're, getting calls. There's offers on the table. Always, there's some stable trying to reach out and say, "Hey, why don't you come pilot for us?" Let him know. Get his card. There's a party, and they'll list off the Shinden Estate. That there's a party there tonight. He can, if he's interested, that he can come out there.
I'll see what he thinks. Might need him to cool down a little bit, but sure. I'll let him know. Can't make any guarantees. He does his own thing half the time.
All right. Is there anything else that y'all are going to be doing in the meantime? Something you kind of see your character doing?
Aside from making sure to make a glorious exit from the mech and waving to the crowd, not sure. I think Chester's pretty practiced at, or he's gotten better. He's not perfect when it comes to like positioning himself for the camera. So, but he's basically copied stuff that he's seen on, on the various holovids or whatever of what people have done. So he'll do like appropriate turns so that the various sponsor patches that are on his coolant suit get picked up by the camera or whatever. But he probably does a few appearance things, like a bit much, whether it's, running his fingers through his sweaty hair a bit too much, or smiling, or, maybe tossing a gross wet toothpick out into the crowd, that kind of thing, just stuff you probably shouldn't do, but he's, still doing it. And I'll try and make my way over to the other three, whether or not that's easy or not, but.
All right. For the
Lucas
most
made
part.
copious notes. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no. If you got something you want to do, go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just saying, Luca's making copious notes, both from all the offers coming in from parties to sponsorships to notes to pass to Chester specifically on his appearances. And they've always got, like, a little quick camera makeup kit somewhere on them. I'm gonna catch up to Chester and
Awesome.
get them a little cleaned up, but not much.
All right. Well, for the game, and for those of you all who don't know, Solaris VII has an interesting history. I'm not going to go into much. I said I would not do that, but it started off as a box set. So why don't we, we're going to throw the Wayback Machine. I mean, this game has had different iterations, but one of the things they did with the box set is they gave some interactions for NPCs. These books really probably haven't been used in God knows how long. There's another Solaris 7 book. There's a video game now. But I'm going to say, let's do a fan interaction. Somebody's going to break through the barrier security and run down towards you. And let's get a D6. Chester. Let's have Chester roll a D6 and see what kind of fan shows up.
We're looking at a 5.
All right. And let's see. I'll let you make a choice. Do you want it to be a tourist or a wannabe?
As in like a mech warrior wannabe?
Mech warrior wannabe, and sometimes they just refer to them that way as they're the ones that often hang on to mech warriors. They just kind of enter the entourage and want to be around them all the time.
I like a groupie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like that one. Let's go with the wannabe.
All right, so let's say you rolled a 5, correct?
Yes.
So directly from the book. A wannabe detaches herself from an entourage of the other mech warrior nearby. She's pretty. What's up? The quotes are that, hey, she runs up and she says, hey, Jeff's throwing a party tonight. Do you want to go?
Jeff? Who's Jeff?
Jeff. And she points over at the other team, and this guy does not look happy looking back. Location, and we'll say it's over in the southern sections of Solaris VII, near the international buildings.
All right. Yeah. We'll see. I mean, I gotta talk to the boss, see what's going on there. But yeah. Hey, what'd you think of the fight?
I think he totally threw it. But you know what? Who cares? It was awesome, and you were great. That was a hell of a last shot.
Hold on a second. Wait, you think he threw it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, not personal, but come on, he was number 12.
Yeah, but that I don't know, man. See now Chester he's getting all flustered now. No, that was all legit. That was all legit.
Well, maybe, but hey,
no, I'm just that good.
Okay, well, hey, look, be there, and she writes down. She'll actually pull out a marker and offer to write either on your hand or on something for you, and says,
"Oh,
here's my number. Be there at 8 or be square." And yes,
And,
that is directly from the text of this. It actually says "Be there or be square."
Nice.
The '80s were so wonderful.
Wow.
Well, I mean, insults they kind of recycle themselves after
Be square.
several dozen generations.
Absolutely.
Okay, so all right, so what Chester is going to do, like, so when she took out the marker and was going to like write, so he like zipped down the front of his coolant suit and he was going to have her sign his chest with that, but then that was when she started talking about that the fight was thrown. So during that, he zipped it back up and then just kind of pulled up his sleeve on his arm instead, and he's like, yeah, okay, whatever, just go ahead, yeah, sign it here.
She made the smart choice without my input.
And yeah, he'll look at it and he's like, yeah, okay, like I said, I got to check, but appreciate that. Hey, thanks for coming over to the right camp.
You got it. And she walks away. Now, the rest of your crew here begin packing up, and you see a series of VTOLs come overhead. Lines are dropped down. The mech is wrapped up and attached to these. And you all make your way out, going through... I'm going to give you the opportunity and the choice. Are you going to go through the front entrance where all the fans go, or are you going out the side entrance and finding a way to get wherever you're going to go for the night?
Well, if we could head their way, it would be through the front entrance. Show off just a little more. But, I mean, that's also up to them. The rest of them.
Do we think that this group normally hangs out together after a battle, or do we go our own ways and then regroup later? I guess. I can see Dash going either way.
I will say
Luku,
that
okay.
just really quickly. Sorry. So the Black Lions themselves, they do have holdings in the northeast side of town. Sadly, it's a tenement building that the group has claimed the entire building thereof. But more than likely, after a victory, there's going to be a barbecue and there's going to be a huge party there.
I mean, if we're gonna get out of where we're at, I mean, we need to put on the dog and pony show. Let's just go out through the front, get the fans riled up. Maybe we can get some more sponsors.
Show a united front, no matter what goes on between the pit and the pilot.
Yeah, don't think I didn't see that, Chester. You ran it into the wall on purpose.
What? Oh no! Come on, I did not. No,
Uh-huh.
there was it was dark. There's stones on the ground there. I swear to you, I heard you say something, trying to get a better, and then I tripped because you were distracting me. You were distracting me, man.
Oh,
You gotta
well,
be.
the last
be
time
careful.
it wasn't distraction. You said you were the best pilot and you can never be distracted.
Okay, but this is the first time in that arena, so I mean, that man, it's all different.
Let's just put on our smiles and we'll sort this out later.
That's fine. The first round is on Chester for that stunt, though.
That's right. He's
Wait,
buying
first-
tonight.
The first round's on Chester anyway. He just won.
Yeah,
Hey.
just buying all night, not just the first round.
Yeah, that's right. Let's not lose sight of what just happened, which was me winning.
Oh,
Yeah, all
yeah,
right.
we won.
Yeah,
Yeah, you won.
Well, this said, a short time later, you're exiting out the front of this and into Solaris proper. Now, you are in Kobe, the northwest section of Solaris. And this is glamour, glitz. It has that feel of, say, the Pyramid in Las Vegas, except bigger. Everything here is bigger. Imagine that we have a building and this huge sprawl, and every building that you see is the size of an arcology. So just building after building in the distance, and as you're walking out, there's this sound from behind and overhead, and it's the sound of the VTOLs taking off as a group, and you turn and you see your mech now suspended by several wires. beneath this group of beetles as they take off out of the mountain, and you see it rise up into the air like some sort of marionette and go off into the city, back to wherever your holdings are for where it'll be finally repaired. Now, the building, if you look at it, like I said, think the pyramid, but at the same time, it also looks as if it is the shape of a mountain made out of black onyx, where the name of it comes from. Out here, you see the crowd is assembled. Now here, it is everywhere. Just hundreds of people spread out in front of you. And there is a moment that as the mech goes overhead, crossing by, Dash, I'm going to say that you, especially with your training in your eye, there's a reflective light in a building that is in shadow. And your senses go off. Something's not right.
So I think I'd shout. So like there's crowds nearby.
Yes, there are.
I think I'd probably say, I'm assuming we still kind of have comms on or something. Kind of shooter and kind of like push people towards, moving us into the crowd so we can get lost.
All right. Indeed. A few seconds later, you hear the sound of, before you hear the sound of a bullet striking, a head of an individual nearby is peeled open.
Yikes.
And
move.
Damn.
We are
Where's
now,
your beams now?
as you make your way into the crowd, two people nearby draw blades. And the crowd is scattering, but these two people are now walking towards you. So, let's go ahead and start up our first official combat.
Ooh.
Whose brilliant idea was this?
Yours.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I think I seconded it. So ooh.
Hey, in this situation, man, I just did what I was told. You said go out the front door. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, me and my bright ideas. Remind me of this next time.
So, In a Time of War, which is the actual book we're using, I should mention that. Well, I'm calling this Battletech Solaris VII, and I'm using the setting material from the box set. We're actually using Battletech: A Time of War, hence the title bar that I have on the actual screen with us. Sadly not in print, but you still can get the PDF at DriveThruRPG. Physical combat between bodies happens differently than it does for mech combat. In this game, everybody actually will be doing initiative. In mech combat, it's kind of like movement happens first, then firing happens. Movement happens, then firing happens. In this, you'll actually have combat and initiative and everything else. So, that said, each character is going to roll separately for the initiative order with your reflex. Oh, sorry, your reflex will be the tiebreaker for if you roll the same.
So I think that I have, in my other notes, this is to add my tactics skill rating to my initiative.
Yes, so you actually have the bonus based on your character's character sheet and abilities to go ahead and add that too.
I believe that puts me at a 7.
Oh, and I'm sorry, it's actually, so base initiative is 2d6.
6 plus. All right. Ooh,
Just 2d6.
Just
No
2d6.
skill. Okay.
So I'm going to start off, and for my guy, I'm going to go ahead and let you know that I'm starting at a 7 for his initiatives.
So,
yes.
Luca... Oh, I'm Luca. rolled a 6 and a 5 on the dice, so that's an 11. Do I add the reflex score to that to make
No.
it a 14, or is it just the flat die?
So flat die is going to be the 11. If somebody else
Okay.
scores an 11, you're going to compare reflexes.
Okay. They've got better reflexes than I do. Probably.
All right. But let's go ahead and start off. Anybody at a 12? So then...
I'm at
yeah.
13.
Oh, 13. There we go.
Nice.
So, Chester, you're going to have the opportunity to go first. You see two individuals with knives moving into melee combat.
And we are in the current other situation is we are surrounded by a number of people, or is it just our group on the street?
Right now, there is a scattering crowd, so there will be a difficulty based on other people around. But
and no one, and is everybody reacting to the skull getting split open?
yes, everybody's running from the splatter.
Okay.
And of course, there is the report of a gun rifle afterwards.
All right. Are any of my teammates closer to these knife wielders than me?
I will say Dash probably is.
Okay. All right. So, for sure, I mean, despite all of his idiotness that he possesses when the cameras are on, Chester is very much of a team player, and he does respect and love his fellow teammates. So he's going to move up to position himself, in front of Dash. I don't want him to get hurt. And if I can run up there and take a swing at one of these guys, I will.
Absolutely. Now, Solaris VII is a open carry town. Everybody's got a weapon. So if you have a weapon on your character sheet, you do have it.
Would I actually have it though with me? I mean, because I'm assuming we're still coming out. I feel like I wouldn't.
Okay.
Not to. I don't want to penalize myself, but I just think realistically, he probably wouldn't have. He probably wouldn't have strapped up.
But you probably would have changed out of your coolant suit and all that and put on your street clothes. Maybe an arm.
It depends. That's kind of. I'm going to leave that up to Luca because she knows the contracts for the sponsors that are on his coolant suit. So, if he needed to have them on, while leaving the mech arena, then he would have left it on. But if not, yeah, then he probably would have changed.
Well, that coolant suit's expensive. You're not wearing that out on the street.
Fair. All right, I can get behind that. Yeah. So okay. So then in that case, he would have strapped up. Yeah. So I'm still going to step forward. Yeah, and he's going to draw. He's going to draw his magnum, and he's going to point, and I'm not going to shoot first. But I'll just threaten him and be like, whatever you're thinking, you think something else.
All right. We'll see if that dissuades them. But I will also say then, next up is Luca.
Yeah. Luca's not moving from where they're at, because not combatant, that's a bad idea. They're ready to dodge at a moment's notice. But they are going to try and talk these guys down, because, I mean, I don't know why you're going after my guy, but not a good idea. Can you at least let him get into, some higher ranks before you take him out? Unless you're one of the opposing teams, in which case, why? They're taking out your opposition too. Do I need to roll acting for that? Or
Absolutely.
Nah?
Let's go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the way I'm reading it, if I have a parenthetical after it, I know it doesn't apply, but if it's a level 6 / +1, is that an additional +1 for the parenthetical?
Yes.
Okay. So it doesn't include deception, so I don't need that. I just wanted to make sure I was reading that correctly.
That is correct. For people out there in the audience, Battletech: A Time of War is a really interesting game because if you do everything ahead of game, you will have your skill that you have with the target number already assigned to it. So you can get this game going super fast, and it's a 2d6 system. So I think it really would work well for streaming, honestly.
Yeah, it's a very fast system. So that's a 6 and a 3 on the die for 9 + 6. That definitely beats the target number of 8.
Oh
right
yeah.
there.
Oh yeah, and it exceeds. One of them is going to stop in their tracks because they see the gun. They see, they hear what you said. And so, yeah, that is going to immediately stop them at least. We'll go from there more, but technically, the way this game works is also a matter of, it kind of reminds me a little bit of D&D 3rd edition, where there are simple actions and complex actions. You can get 2 simple actions in or 1 complex action in. And for simple actions, speaking and doing what you just did is a simple action. You can actually take 1 more.
That would be to hold my action to, like, run behind somebody if somebody comes after me.
Okay.
I am not good in combat. I'm ready to run.
All right. And I'll also say that if necessary, maybe a melee defense if it comes to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So, going from there, does anybody have... I'm going to go through it semi-quick. Let's go 10, 9, 8, 7. Anybody before 7? All right, Dash, what is your...
At 7, sorry.
Yeah, what is your reflex? Because they rolled the same.
4.
All right, you're actually beating them, so you'll be able to go before them.
Okay. So I think I'll take a simple action, and I will tell the rest of the team, keep moving. We've been over this in drills. And then to Chester, stop being the bravado. I'm the guard. Get moving. They're after you. And then position myself between Chester and the 2 combatants, but primarily the one that would still seem to be advancing. Then I'll position myself to defend myself with martial arts.
All right. So you're basically you said that, which is I'll go ahead and say that can also be a quick action.
Okay.
Because even though it says speaking only a single word, you're kind of getting a point across.
Yeah.
And you're not really making a roll for anything to command people to do. So I'm going to say quick action.
Okay.
And then you're holding your actions essentially for something else to happen?
Yes, if they continue to approach.
All right.
And enter into melee.
Last but not least, Raph, what are you doing?
Well, I mean, I've got a 4, so do these guys go before me?
I'm going to say they do. Thank you. I'm not certain your comrades are going to thank you, but thank you for reminding me.
Well, I mean, that's... Yeah, I could take advantage of that, but I don't want to.
All right. Well, I'm going to say this, that the one that stops, he's like, turns to the other one and says, why are we doing this? And the other one, I'm going to say, does anyone here speak Japanese?
English on my sheet.
Languages in this world are kind of a weird thing. But I'm going to say, Luca, you've grown up on this world. You might at least have a smattering of it.
Yeah.
Just because, and I'll get into that after this moment. But he says in Japanese, this is a matter of honor. The contract has already been made. And slices the other guy's throat.
Oh.
Move now. Grab Chester right. If I can use that hold action to grab Chester and run, then I'm going to grab Chester and run.
All right. So one of them goes down holding his throat, and the other one is now looking at the rest of your group and starts walking towards you. Now, he will not be able to attack because he took his 1 attack action on that guy. He could have done 2 attack actions. You weren't in range. But so that is essentially what is happening now for them. And now we can go on with Raph.
With my amazing 4. I'm going to be listening to Dash and kind of backing away, but as soon as I see the guy cut the other guy's throat and keep advancing, I'm going to pull my... where is it at? I'm going to pull my Magnum out. Is that the gun that I have? No, revolver. and take a shot.
All
So
right.
that's 2d6, and then for my small arms, I have a level +1, so I add that to my roll.
Yes. What's it all on your sheet? What does it actually say?
The sheet says small arms +1, and then my target number is a 6.
All right. So you'll roll your 2d6, add that +1. You're trying to beat that 6 at the very least.
Ooh, I rolled a 10 or a 6 and a 4, so 10, 11 is my roll.
All right. Now he tries to dodge around the guy that he just shot, and as soon as he banks behind his back, you pop him in the side, and he goes down. So you exceeded his roll by, at this point, I think 4. So, what is the damage on your weapon?
The revolver. Oh shoot. AP is 4B.
The AP's 4B. All right. So that is 4 points of damage. What is going to happen now? I'm going to say really quick, Jeanette Sasquatch, thank you so much for pointing that out. I'm going to turn off the music for a moment and let me know if that fixes the audio issue. So, what happens now is that as you shoot him, the amount that you exceeded his roll translates into the difference between your rate of success. Your rate of success is 4 points over it, so it translates into 1 more point of damage. And your gun was 4?
Yeah.
All right, so that means that you score 5 points of damage.
Okay, cool. Is he down?
No.
No.
But he took a pretty good hit, and I'm going to say just for fun, and even though I said I wasn't going to do this to you, I will, because they're the heroes of this story. I'm not going to do this to them, but I will make this guy roll to stay awake.
Nice.
Why not? And that is not going to be it, because it's a stat roll, and it's body plus, I believe, agility or reflex. I'm pretty well known for rolling terribly, and that was a 4.
Oh.
So, that said, you shoot him, and while you didn't kill him, the shock of the blast at this range, he goes down. So
I think we need to go now, guys. Let's just go.
Yeah.
Not arguing.
Yeah.
Let's get Chester out of here.
And you know what? We all kind of forgot about the sniper. So yeah,
That's why I wanted
No
to keep
kidding.
moving.
So end of the round. I'm gonna say that the sniper takes another shot. But the thing is, I'm guessing everybody's now moving.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
penalty
ducking.
penalty on a moving target is -3. Double checking that really quick. And also target is at long range. He's not gonna make that hit. So so the shot bounces off the walkway nearby, striking another person in the crowd. There is a collateral damage table in the game, but I'm not going to run with that for right now. And you see someone down at the bottom of the steps. It's your ride, and it's another member of the Black Lions. And they have the doors. It's kind of a VTOL car. The door has come up on the side. You can pretty much just run straight into the thing, and he's motioning for y'all to run.
as we run towards there, can Chester take a moment to try and perceive where the sniper is shooting from?
Absolutely. They're a building that is kind of cloaked in shadow, coming from the lights of the stadium. And the stadium is very bright. And so there's one building in front, and then a building that's slightly behind. And on the corner office, about 5 floors up, is where you see a glimpse of a shine. And this time that shine would have been the report and the fire off of a sniper rifle.
All right, I'll make a just kind of a mental note of where that is, just so we can try and look it up on a map later or something to figure out exactly who owns a building or what the building is.
All right.
As soon as we all pile into the car, I'm going to start laughing, and not like kind of almost hysterical laughter. And look at Chester's like, well, I guess that's what you get for being famous now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whew. Jeez.
Yeah. The vehicle.
Probably like-
The vehicle now rolls forward just a brief bit and engages the large blade fans on the side that basically sweep out, and it takes off into the air and begins to bank southward and away from Kobe.
Yeah, I'd probably just be coordinating with the pilot of this vehicle, kind of being like what I think the best tactical way to get back to.
What do they have missile launchers?
That's what I'm trying to get the
Don't
pilot
put
to
that into
dodge
the
around.
universe.
Why would you even say that?
Well, it's true.
Oh my gosh.
They're popping heads down in the crowd like they don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
don't. That's the worry. Now, don't put any more out into the universe, please and thank you. Let me get on to some press and spin this in our favor.
All right. The pilot.
Does anybody know what he said before he cut that guy's throat? I mean, he said something, and then he was just like, at that point.
Something about a contract. I'll discuss it later. Right now, we need to make sure that nobody is further injured, and we need to get you safe.
Contract? Did we not fulfill a sponsor obligation?
No.
Somebody else is trying to fill another contract on you. Now,
Or the
Quiet.
team.
Now, this said,
Or the-
the pilot tells you, Dash, he's going to be like, okay, we're going to bank south. We're going to go down to Solaris River. I'm going to keep it, pretty low and try and, there's a bridge not too far from here that's a boundary line but out of Kobe. We'll go there.
Seems that makes sense to me. Yeah. Okay.
So, do you think the contract only applies when we're in Kobe? I mean, are we going to have to worry about people trying to infiltrate our compound?
I don't know that much Japanese. And that was Japanese he was speaking.
Yes.
Kobe has a Japanese name. I'm going to go with, I hope you're right. But I'm not going to guarantee it.
They're not going to be our only threat. We'll just need to discuss security protocols tomorrow.
Let's focus on surviving tonight.
So, explaining both to audience and to players, Solaris VII is a large metroplex just outside an area known as the Gray Hills or Mountains. And it is a city that is almost a UN-esque kind of city. It's divided up into various territories. Actually, I guess it would be a lot more like Berlin before the fall of the Berlin Wall, where all the different territories that were ruled over by the different, UN factions. So you have in the northwest corner, you have Kobe, which is House Kurita, technically within the great houses of the universe. To your east is Montenegro, and it's a large section, and that's also where your headquarters are. Montenegro is where the Black Lions are, and it used to be House Davian at one time. One of the lesser houses now kinds of oversees it. Like somebody, I'm just going to say, it's either somebody either banged somebody and got control of the planet. And so it's the best way to put it. Come on.
Why not both?
Gee.
So
Yeah, that's only a one-time use for that last
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
But so the international section is in the southwest corner. That's your starport. That is, where the neutral parties all can go there and have offices. You have the Black Hills, which is directly south of the river. The river runs through the entire city. It's a fairly simple map. Black Hills is to the east of the international zone. Cathay is to the east of that. And Salisa is the last portion furthest east on the map. For the most part, you don't really have to worry about a lot of that. But that gives you a better idea of the general layout. Now, there are only 3 bridges that cross, Solaris, cross that river. But so if you're trying to get your way out of Kobe and not have people actively below you, that's maybe the best place to go.
Yeah, I'll say that sounds good to the pilot. Did anybody see anything on those assassins? Any logos, any emblems, anything other than daggers in Japanese?
I saw a big red hole in one of them.
Useful. Would I have seen anything or that I would have recognized, or was I just too focused on getting out of there, you think?
I am going to ask if you have any knowledge skills that might give you an idea of things for this planet. Or skills along that line in general. It's been a bit since I saw your character sheet, unfortunately.
Career journalist, career lawyer, art and writing might be
Journalist. Definitely journalist.
Okay.
And can I assist with like a streetwise to give a little bonus to that to Luca's role?
I
don't know if they have assist.
They don't really have an assist mechanic in the game, but I will let you make the same roll based on streetwise.
Can I make a roll based on soldier to see if they were military by any chance?
You can, but I'm going to say that in your case, and this is something that happens in the game, it's going to be much more difficult knowledge because they are not technically soldiers. So I'm going to assign a +2 to your TN.
Okay.
So journalist, 10 on die +2, so that's a total of 12, which doubles my target number. I'm liking the dice I'm rolling. I probably should stop rolling that.
You did way better than me, so.
Yeah,
well, Chester, how'd you do?
I got a 5, 3 below my target number, so I didn't even make my target number.
I would have made it if you hadn't made it so difficult. I was 1 under.
Can I use perception?
Yeah, I'll let it go. But I'm gonna say that you're gonna have a +3 on yours.
+3 my target number?
Yes.
Two is 11. So I exceeded it by 2.
All right. So, for Luca and Dash, Luca first. You are fairly certain that growing up here on Solaris VII, having an idea of what's going on the planet, the different politics, the different groups that are influential, you would think that there's a strong possibility that this group is part of a triad mafia body known as the 100 Arms. And they consider honor based on contracts and are known for being kind of shady. There's a bit of a obvious disagreement between the head of security and law enforcement in the international section and 100 Arms, but 100 Arms just doesn't go in there. They never go into that section of the city. Every section is ruled by different security is overseen by different nations for Solaris. So it's like, yeah, you hate us. Guess what? You can't come get us. And at the same time, because national bodies are the one, these high galactic universal bodies are in charge of all the security for these different groups or different places. It's very easy for corruption to take place. But you do know that they are based out of Cathay. That would be the section of town that they are based. So probably not a good idea to go there right now. Dash, you would also be able to identify them as 100 Arms. You would also know that the weapons they were carrying based on, you use perception, I'm gonna say that you're a little bit more aware that the quality was pretty damn good. We're talking like laser etched weaponry, not something anybody would give up or want to lose. And if you two talk for a moment and exchange that information, Luca, you would know that that means that those people were probably part of the very core group called the 100 Blades, which there are 100 daggers, or, wakizashi, that are carried by the personal guard of the head of that triad.
That's not a good sign, is it?
So would our impression, or would we have any impression whether, is it the 100 Arms?
Yeah, the 100 Arms.
The 100 Arms is doing this because it is their interest, or if they've been hired by some other group to be an assassin for hire?
That's a good question.
Yeah, my guess would have to be the latter, I would think.
Well, if they're the mafia, maybe they're running gambling and you cost them money.
Yeah, but was it this win that pissed them off? Because it seems really quick to get a contract out for a hit when we just won that match.
Could have been one of the other wins. I mean, stables like ours don't make it this high ever.
Right.
We're good.
Maybe it was a contract that was based on, if we win, we're gonna whack you, and if not, you just whack you. I don't know.
Yeah. Now, there is a certain line that could be drawn, I will say, that all of you could know. And that is, ever since you entered into the top 20, each one of those groups has been a stable. Each one of those pilots, ever since, I think it was Bonhoeffer, was the first pilot you were up against. It was number 20 when you started breaking into the ranks. Each one of those is stabled. And not only that, usually they have influence by one of the governments. And Bonhoeffer and the pilot you just went up against both were members of stables that were under House Steiner. So I know that doesn't mean much to you as players, but that is a line you could draw.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, if they wanted to get revenge but have it be a situation where it didn't point directly to them, you hire a hit squad from a different international zone or a different section of town that has nothing to do with them to come and take us out. That's possible.
But
why?
Go ahead.
But why get their own hands dirty and imply themselves?
Yeah, I mean, if it was the house behind it, you'd think they'd wait till we had beaten another house, then did the hit. That way we wouldn't connect the two dots.
Maybe they don't think we're smart enough to do that.
No, I mean, we're a free league.
I mean, we've been underestimated all our whole career here, so that's probably it.
Yeah, but also, if the 100 Arms is doing a hit that publicly for a high bidder or even themselves, why do it that publicly? There's certainly something going on here.
Do we know what the rep of the 100 Arms might be? Are they almost in a similar situation to us where having something that they did being high profile would increase their own rep amongst, the triad community? I mean, is that possible?
Not so much. Honestly, they're just known for doing this. They are a merc unit locally. There's no ties with them to the Battletech and industry overall, other than just great ways to make money.
Even publicly?
Even publicly. I mean, they are just street level carrying weapons. Standard triad, things that you can imagine. So drug trade, people trade, weaponry and things beyond. But yeah.
And hits like this are fairly common that some people aren't going to think twice about it. or not hits, but attacks, this kind of violence on the street.
Yes, that I will say is that everybody carries in Solaris. Everybody, and that is kind of a little bit of its reputation. I mean, it's kind of like the Wild West meets, Mos Eisley.
Okay.
Very much that kind of town. Obviously beautiful in parts of it, is very much at the same time that futuristic, almost cyberpunk level town. But people pretty much, there's a great video out there, and I love it. It's like Solaris VII, where murder is legal.
Do we think that if we were to track down a couple other members of the 100 Hands, that maybe one of them might talk?
That is definitely a possibility.
I just gotta say, Chester, I've told you once, 1,000 times. If you want to stay alive, you better start listening to me. In and out of the pilot seat.
Right. Now, I got in the car when you said get in the car. See, I do listen to you. I listen to you.
With all that going on at the same time, Luca, I'm going to ask for your character. You said that you want to get this out and spin it or do something with it.
Yeah, just making sure that it doesn't spin against us.
All right.
Hey, we're the victims here. Somebody did an attack on us in broad daylight, which isn't out of the normal apparently, but hey, somebody didn't care about collateral damage. We care about that shit.
All right.
Kind of thing.
So you're going to be getting calls from, there's going to be media personalities. They're going to be like, hey, can we get you in for an interview? What are your thoughts on this? There are rumors that, people think that this was a hit done for this reason. What is the story behind Chester's Love Baby?
That particular question, Luca just looks over at Chester and like, who did you sleep with this time?
Look, calling it a love baby might be a bit much of a stretch. I mean, it's a baby, but the love part, I mean, that just seems like they're just trying to make things up at this point.
That's because in the papers that sounds better than lust baby.
Yeah, but does it? I mean, I don't know. I mean, a lust baby, man, it's got a little bit of fire to it. But
it was an affair so secret, not even he knew.
Yeah. But that all being said, Luca's going to play it very much, hey, if you're pissed with us, don't take it out on innocent bystanders on the street. Maybe, police your brass a little better.
All right. So with that, let's go ahead and get a roll done and see how the media is going to respond and how they spin it. So do you have any certain skill that you would like to use for that?
I mean, interest in law, career law, and journalism, which we've already done. I've also got mercenary and free league protocols.
Yeah, those are pretty tough overall. Let's start off. I'm gonna say let's get you in with a negotiation. Talking negotiation. And then career journalist to try and spin it.
8 plus, what was it, negotiations? 8 plus 5 is, I have to do math, 13, which beats a target of 8 for negotiations, and then career journalism. You see, I'm rolling dice. Maybe I'll actually roll low. I don't want to roll low, but
don't roll low.
7 on the die plus 2 is 9, which beats a 6.
There we go. The media is eating it up, and of course, calling out the different individuals who obviously would perpetrate such a horrible crime. They of course want a quote from Chester on this.
Get through first.
A quote from me in regards to the assassination attempt?
Yeah, absolutely. They want to know what are your thoughts?
Hey, here's the deal. When you're on your way up, you always got people gunning for you, and sometimes they use actual guns. So, It's I'm sorry that these losers can't handle the fire that we're bringing, but you know, that's kind of the way it goes. That's the way the mech breaks, friends. Don't worry, we're still here, we're still kicking, and we'll see you when we reach the top 5.
All right. And while you're
And make sure that you spell TSK.
as the interview is taking place, one of the journalists also says, "And what do you think of the fact that Michelin is looking for a new spokesman?" And the voice cuts out there, and all of you, for a brief moment, blink at a bright light. Seconds later, as you're looking around, there is no longer a driver of the vehicle.
Gosh, get us out of here.
In fact, the area where that driver was sitting is now a perfectly cylindrical hole going straight through the vehicle. All that is left is a hand that is holding on to the throttle. Obviously, somebody has fired a large laser at you. The vehicle is now...
I was so focused on missiles, I forgot about lasers.
Than I thought.
The vehicle is now beginning to tilt in the air. You are over the top of the water, and you are banking right towards the southern banks of Solaris.
Did the laser take out the control panel in the front of the car, or just like a
large portion of it?
Okay, I guess we got to ditch.
So you can ditch, and at the same time, if somebody wants to start trying to figure out what you can do. But essentially, what are y'all going to do? Let's go around the group as this action takes place. And I'm going to start with Luca. So what would Luca be doing?
At this point, making sure all comms are off to any public entities, and is swearing up a storm and just going through the Rolodex of okay, who the fuck do I call now, or who the bleep do I call now? And trying to figure out, okay, who did we actually piss off this time? This is beyond just rising to the top as a free league. Or as a Black Lion. Yeah, right. I'm praying.
So you'll be looking through that. At the same time, for going around, we're going to go counterclockwise. So, Dash, what are you doing?
So I think that my character would probably be pretty familiar with any emergency supplies that would be within this. Don't know. We've got we've got a ride that we actually can have some safety stuff in, or if we're just bolted together and good luck to us before the damage. Could you tell me a little bit about
that? So what are you looking for knowledge-wise specifically?
Since this is a flying vehicle, are there parachutes for ditching or whatever, or is it just nah, if you get knocked out of the air, just sorry about you?
I'm gonna say that most of you know that there is a emergency landing protocol that you can try and enact. But there is going to be, we'll say, parachutes of a nature, but usually meant. And actually, with that, let's go ahead and have your character roll. I'm gonna say navigation ground.
With any modifiers?
Yep.
9 plus 3 is 12 over the 6 of my character.
All right. Usually meant for much higher elevation than where you currently are.
Right.
So, Chester, what are you doing?
Well, he's immediately regretting saying the whole thing about sometimes people use actual guns when gunning for him. Or gunning for them. That was probably a really mistimed quote. But he is... Well, actually, first of all, do I know, does Raph have the ability to I mean, would I know from experience? Does he have the ability to pilot these types of vehicles, or?
Anyone with the ground, technically, I know while you're in the air, technically ground transportation would work with this, or transportation if you all have arrow. You know.
Okay. I mean, because I know what he wants to do, but if I knew that he had that ability, then I don't want to, because he would probably be much better at it than I would.
I mean,
So
considering the front of the car took damage, we might need to repair or kludge something together to get things going, which I could do that.
okay.
But if you want to try and fly it down into a safe landing, I'm good with that too.
All right. And yeah, that's what he's gonna make the probably the ill-conceived effort to do so. So yeah, Chester is going to crawl forward into what remains of the front seat and probably sit down as the cauterized remains of the pilot, kind of crunch and crumple like burnt toast as he settles himself into the seat.
Hand out the front window.
Yeah, and he's gonna just kind of reach and grab what remains of the forearm of the pilot, and just kind of, it's gonna take a couple of tugs to get it to break free of the grip of the control stick, and he doesn't want to throw it at the window because that's disrespectful, so he'll like prop it up in the cup holder, like wrist side up, so it's just kind of standing like this. And then he's going to do whatever he can to try and pilot one of these things, thinking to himself, well, it can't be that much different than a mech. And yeah, that's kind of where he's at.
All right. So finally, Raph, what are you doing?
So, sorry,
but I mean, the cup holder is the perfect size. It's probably one of those 16-ounce, and that's about the right size for a pilot's forearm. It just kind of sticks right in there. Heck, it actually might stick in there, considering. So,
would any kind of emergency landing, would I have the knowledge to know that it would be in the front panel, or would there be something like under the rear seat? There's something to pull that would engage some kind of safety protocols?
It'll be computer controlled in the front area of the vehicle.
All right, then I'm going to pull myself up into the seat next to Chester, kind of side-eyeing our co-pilot.
Watch the hand.
Yeah. No, I see it. I'm not, and I'm going to start rummaging around in what's left of the dashboard to see if I can get the safety protocols engaged.
All right, so
using any of the tools and bits and bobs that I have in my pockets and pouches that are scattered all around my clothes.
All right. So I'm going to go around now with everybody who has gotten an action in. I'm going to go in reverse order based on what was said. Let's go career technician for Raph really quick. I think that would probably... no, sorry. It's a technical skill. You're trying to work with tech. Sorry.
Yeah, so either electronics or mechanics?
Electronics.
Okay.
So technical skill, electronics, and then going with Chester. Your idea is to pilot the ship. Can't be too different from piloting a mech. So use your skill for that. But I'm going to say add a +2 to the difficulty.
Perfect. So +2 to my target number?
Yes. So go with that. Then over to Dash, coming back around. Is there anything more in specific that you would be trying to do? Are you going to be trying to aid them, or is there something else that you want to do? I would also recommend possibly trying to figure out information on the weapon that was used.
I think that what I'd probably be doing is, if we do have some sort of parachute thing, I'd be trying to attach those onto people while they're trying to, as the failsafe if they can't land it.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and give that to you for free for now. Sure. So you're able to start getting those parachutes out to people, get them on you and Luca, definitely. And then Luca, with everything that's going on, is there something you really want to do?
Aside from, assisting, or at least not making Dash's life harder getting into my own, parachute. Um, does that seem like a normal weapon that would be in like typical like hit mercenary use, or was that just kind of like definitely overkill for that laser that took out our original pilot?
I'll give you two possibilities on that. I'm going to say either perception to be looking for it as the vehicle starts to. It's kind of at the start of a corkscrew.
Mhm.
It's not losing control completely yet, but it's going to get there if people don't do something. So perception with a +1 to the target number for that. Or I would say your other side of that is maybe career journalist, but I'm going to assign a +2 difficulty to that because this is going to be something that's outside the realm of journalism that you've done normally.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and use perception just because it gives me a little bit of a better boost. And I'm otherwise useless at the moment because I have no technical skill.
I will never let a character be useless, I promise you.
Okay, I'm not useless overall. I'm just in this situation kind of like they know what they're doing. I'd only be in the way. I've got 10 on the dice +4, that's 14 for
Man,
perception,
you are kicking it.
these are my lucky die apparently. Which beats the extended target number of 7. So,
All right. You, as the vehicle starts to corkscrew and it's starting to turn, you get over to the window and kind of grab on the edge, looking down, and you see that there is a truck that has a some sort of battery, like, and by battery I mean both the physical power source, but there is also like a artillery cannon. That might be a better way to put it. More likely laser cannon, but yes. Uh, Getting it into position again, you would think, might take time. So it might be in the best interest for everybody to get this down as quickly as possible.
yeah, and I obviously relay that information as succinctly as possible to the relevant parties. So,
Yeah.
like,
Got it. So not a missile launcher, but got it. Okay.
missile launcher, but the missile
I'm
is
like
light.
digging in and pulling wires out and just kind of ripping into things.
And this vehicle is kind of off on the edge of the river. So it's possible you're thinking that there might have been other vehicles waiting for a route for you, but this one is the one that found you.
So for the repair roll, John, I did. So my target number is a 9. I rolled a 5. So with the +4, I got the 9.
Awesome. And I, as a GM, regardless of system, I always go tie to player because I want to tell a story.
Yeah.
On the piloting, my target also was a 9, but I got a 10 with my. So I would imagine that Chester he was able to get relative control of the vehicle to at least stabilize it in some capacity, probably at one point in time inadvertently reaching down for like some sort of gear shift in his mech pilot and end up holding hands briefly with the pilot's or the driver's hand.
Yeah.
And then let's go of it. It probably fumbles somewhere, maybe landing in Raph's lap or something. But I do have at least control of the vehicle.
No, I appreciate it, Chester, but I don't need a hand right now, and I'm just
get a
digging into the
grip, would
circuits.
you? Come on.
All right. So you've managed to. So for Raph, you've managed to engage it for the emergency landing systems. The blades are beginning to arc down so that the ship is going to, go down. I mean, that's the best way to put it. Chester, you're holding on to control as well as you can, and you're like, okay, this isn't too different. You're managing to hang on to it, and but the arc and the corkscrew is already pulling you in a very specific direction, and with the automatic landing engaged, we're going to say that your characters begin to take it away from the edge of the river. You're now back over the over ground, over the town, on the southern edge of that river, near an area known as Jackson Street, which might mean nothing to you, but you would know that this puts you in the area of town known as the Black Hills. The vehicle then, you find a piece of street that your automatic landing recognizes it. Everything's set up, and it collides with the ground. Not hard enough to knock anyone out, not hard enough to absolutely destroy the vehicle. You're doubting you're going to get it up anytime soon. And it's going to be there that we are going to go ahead and take a 10-minute break. So, I hope everybody's having a good time so far. We're going to take a 10-minute break. When we get back, we'll see where exactly our characters are and what is happening. And who knows? You never know how a game's going to go. We might see some mech combat at some point, but this is where we are. All right, see y'all soon.
Cool.
All right, and we are back. I hope everybody had a nice break there, got some drinks, and came on back. Today, we are playing Battletech here on the Rook and Rasp. And before we jump into everything, I want to be sure to let everyone know, got some great things coming up. Tomorrow, in the afternoon, we will be having Horror on the Orient Express using Call of Cthulhu, as well as Pulp Cthulhu. So they are doing the pulp rules, which I really enjoy. I think it's a great expansion on the system. Makes it a little bit more livable and a little bit more over the top if you do it right. So going from there, on Monday, we will be back with The Voyages of, which is our Star Trek Adventures actual play. And then Tuesday is Seventh Seas with By Leaps and Bounties. So looking forward to all that. And then we'll have a good break until next Sunday when everything starts back up again. So for the most part, a bunch of adults here. We like to give most of our people their weekends. I'm very honored to have my table here with me that gave up their Saturday afternoons, but we don't do things on Saturday evenings so that everybody can go and be adults or at least pretend we have social lives. But that said, joining me at the table today, I've got Chris. I've got Phil, I have Sean, and I have Corey. And we have just crash landed in Solaris VII. Well, kind of crash landed.
Yeah, I mean, we came down about as good as we could expect under the circumstances. So,
I mean, we did have all hands on deck, so.
That's a good one.
Star piloting from Chester.
We fingered it out. It's we got it.
Any crash that we can all walk. Oh well, all of us but the pilot can walk away from. But
I mean, if yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Speaking of, in all seriousness,
he's holed up somewhere.
Yeah. What are we gonna do with this guy's hand? I mean,
I'm pretty sure Luca just stashed it in their bag somewhere, just absently.
Taken out of the backpack or something.
We'll give it to their significant other and let them decide.
Plasticate it like the Body Works museums and send it off to their family.
They can point us in the right direction.
Yeah.
All right.
It's going to be the most gruesome game of spin the bottle ever.
All right.
Wow. That one went more places. So, you are, though, in a street in the northern section of the Black Hills, but it takes just a moment to realize that where you're at is a section of the city that is kind of on the lower end. Some people would say that this is the slums of the town.
I mean, is it as bad as the area that you described? I mean, you said our base was basically in the tenements. I mean, so is it better, worse?
Maybe a little bit worse.
Oh, jeez.
Being that, so divided up into 5 sections of towns, 5 sections in the city, and each section has its own oversight and its own control, its own law enforcement, and its own slums. Now, the reason I say that this might be a little bit worse is that on the south side of town, you're 3 different sections. From the International to the Black Hills to Cathay, and I cannot remember the furthest one out. It jumped out of my mind now, but anyway, all their slums are right there along the river, and so it's almost like one giant slum.
Fun.
Oh, nice.
Anybody know anybody here in the Black Hills?
Ooh, now that is a great question, and I'll actually give y'all something on that.
Ooh.
Because, like I said, that is a great question. Now, south of here is a club that you know called the Cobalt Coil. It's a dance club where the young and up-and-coming, or wannabe up-and-coming mech warriors hang out. So, possibly if you got your start here, like Chester, this might have been a place that you hung out, and think Farm League, Mech Warrior. And by Farm League, I mean they probably even used farming mechs to fight each other. So it is like people might, trade information. There's like, oh yeah, that guy over there, I saw him in this one fight. He could probably go far. Oh yeah. And they toss things around. Rarely, though, are the higher level mech warriors seen there. But it doesn't stop it from being a place that oftentimes tourists go because it's not expensive to get in there. And it's an opportunity to rub elbows with them. So that is one place you wouldn't know nearby.
Well, you want to see if we can go ahead.
Well, I would say, yeah, it couldn't hurt to at least go there to try and figure out what the hell's going on.
Yeah,
Well-
I agree. We need to get some intel.
We
Yeah,
wouldn't
what I
expect to
know,
see us there, but we can't stay there long because Chester will get recognized.
Yeah.
Not the rest of us.
well, I'm pretty recognizable myself. But would I know Chester's reputation at this club and how it has changed, or just that he was a regular at this club before he made it to the big leagues?
I'll leave that up to Chester. Were you regular at that club?
I would say that he probably, boy, regular, good question. I think that he probably was a semi-regular. There might have been maybe a couple other ones that he went out there that he hung out as in just an effort to try and as he was coming up to spread himself around, so he got seen at more places. Whether or not people actually recognize him is something else. But yeah, so we'll kind of split the difference and say that, yeah, there may be some people here who know him or who would recognize him. Unless you want me to know, hung out here exclusively if this relates into my the dark secret thing that is on my character sheet, or
Ooh.
my in for life, which is I owe a debt to a great debt to a secret organization. If you want to enforce it on me, I will dive into that GM pool and swim around.
I will say that yeah, let's go there. Let's say
All right.
that you used to hang out there and got into a little bit of the shadier side of
Okay.
smuggling mech parts.
So yeah, when Dash mentions that thing about, yeah, we can't stay there. Was it Dash who said can't stay there too long because of Chester?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll you know what, actually, I mean, you're right. Yeah, definitely we can't stay there too long, but yeah, I know a guy. He might be able to help us.
Judging by that reaction, you know a guy. Is he going to pull a knife on you?
He didn't last time.
Or a knife than a giant laser?
I think we'll take the knife.
Yeah, I'll take the knife. Yeah, and he probably, yeah, he might be able to. He'll point to Luca's backpack. Probably can help us take care of that too.
Oh, I didn't even realize I grabbed that.
You're thorough. What can we say? I mean, that's part of the reason why we're where we are. I mean, not now, but I mean, just the success. You're good at what you do.
Maybe a little too good if you're being shot at, and the rest of us are being shot at with you.
Well,
So don't thank me just yet.
And just because, again, we're playing Solaris VII, we're basing it out of the original box set, which I do have here, and pulling the setting material from there, and the fact that NPC interactions can take place from this book. They have tables and everything. You're in the slums. Let's go ahead and say that a group of people are arriving on the scene. Probably live nearby, and let's let Dash. I'm gonna let you roll a d6, and we're gonna see who exactly is coming.
Right, let's get an interesting value. Not a safe or dangerous one. Let's maybe just see if I can get an interesting one.
And I will actually pass on a choice to let's go with Luca. Would you like it to be a gang encounter or a criminal encounter?
Uh,
What?
let's go with gang. They're liable to be at least a tiny bit friendlier, or if not friendlier, at least willing to, give the middle finger to the other guys instead of us. So, gang it is. This is a good decision.
All right. So, what is your roll on a d6?
My roll was a 2.
Your roll was a 2. All right. And you said gang encounter, Luca?
Yep. Going
Okay.
all in here, huh?
That's a
So-
super confident. Yep, I love it.
A bunch of disreputable looking types in gang colors step out into your path, weapons at the ready. They are not in a good mood. One of them yells out, "Hey, what you doing? Sightseeing? Tour's gonna cost you, tumor." So,
Are they talking to us?
10 people walk out of the alley.
Ooh, it's,
So sorry.
um,
I'll play along with Raph when he's talking to us, and I'll be kind of like looking around to see who.
Luca steps forward, going like, yeah, about that. Look, we're sorry to intrude, but we're in a bit of a bind here.
Luca,
Mm-hmm.
1 second here. I'm gonna ask for your character to do something really quick.
All right. I've got my lucky die at the ready. See if I can get my hand high enough.
Pull it up here really quick, because you're playing the face character, and I know a little bit about that character. Go ahead, and I'm just going to ask for a straight up attribute roll, but it's going to be 2 attributes you're going to add together with your d6s.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask for a charisma. And let's go. How much edge do you have?
3.
Let's go charisma edge.
So don't think I'm going to. Well, I might make that. It's a 6 total on the die plus 9 is 15. So I think that beats a 14, which I think is the target number, isn't it, for an attribute skill?
Yep.
So yeah.
One of them stops the one talking and says, "Whoa, whoa, 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 dude, you know who that is?" And he's pointing at Luca. And the guy looks over at you, and it takes a moment, and they're both like, "Holy shit! That's freaking Luca Hedman, or what? Or Luca, yay!" And the attitude starts to slowly shift from the people in the front. And it starts kind of going back a little bit. It's like at first, they were all ready to throw down, and then it kind of spreads. But they're just like, oh yeah. No, there's no knife in my hand. No, gun's going away.
Luca doesn't care. They understand. It's like, we're intruding. I understand. I just need to get through as fast as possible without dying here.
What's going on? They all look over. I'm figuring you're pretty close to your ride still.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? Hey, what happened to you? Dang, I had never seen something like that. A couple of people are walking over to take a look at it.
Yeah, one of us managed to piss off the wrong party. We're trying to figure out who so I can unpiss them off. But until that happens, we're in a bit of a bind. Hiding the hand further into the bag. Just absently.
One of them, a shorter woman with red hair, looks over at you and is just like, "Y'all in trouble?"
Trouble's a mild way of putting it, yeah.
"Look, you give us this car, you give us the ride, we'll get you through the territory."
Luca looks back at the ride. How salvageable does it look? I mean, to my untrained eye, I have no skill roll in this at all.
It's not on fire.
It's literally what I was thinking. It's not burning, you know.
I mean, if y'all think y'all can do something with it, it's yours.
Yeah, it's not gonna fly now, guys. It's but you can fix it up. I mean, it's yours.
Hey, the engine's still in one piece. We can transfer that over to one of the blocks we got.
The engine is perfect right now. It's just the control console that was taken out.
We got it.
Might
Hey.
smell a little like barbecue. Apologize.
Walk him through. Get him out. Walk him through. Get him out of here. And a couple people start leading the way and are just like, hey, let's go. And start walking you to some nearby buildings, getting you through a few alleys. But even as you are leaving the street and going into this large, I mean, again, all the buildings here are huge. We're talking about arcology-sized buildings. This is a slum with a rooftop. We're talking like 30, 40 stories of just, concrete and cardboard, covered in graffiti, poorly lit. A lot of people here, probably workers for a lot of the sections of the city, or just squatting out in the hallways. Like I said, a lot of cardboard. And cattails.
A lot of stray cats.
A lot of stray cats.
A lot of stray cats.
Jeez. Yeah, man. I mean, these guys got a lot of problems, but the feline infestation here is ridiculous.
You don't see any rats, though, do you?
No, I was gonna say there's no rats
No
anywhere.
rats, but yeah. Oof.
But
Okay,
even
I'll
as
take
you're coming off the alley and going into this large, building through the various like tunnels and everything else, you hear the sound of vehicles on the street. So,
Keep moving.
Yeah,
Just keep
let's
going.
keep going. If we're trying to get to, we're still going to try and go to the coil. Is that the deal?
Yeah, I think that's the.
All right.
there are shouts back that way, and you actually think you hear the sound, the report of gunfire. And the people with you, then they're moving, and you are moving. They are pushing you now through the tunnels, and everybody is pushing.
Yeah, we are not resisting.
Yeah, beaten feet.
Yeah.
All right. And
What
since
did
we're a
we
little
do?
bit further along, it looks like what was going on earlier was that Saturdays are a popular stream day. We had a lot of people coming on right then around lunchtime. So I am going to go ahead and turn on a little bit of music in the background.
All right.
So that said, there are now people pushing and shoving. And I want to go ahead and say everybody needs to make some tests. Let's go ahead and get some strength and body tests for y'all to stay together.
So we add our 2 scores together and have to roll higher than that?
Yeah, add those 2 scores together, add 2d6 to it, and then I believe you're starting off at 13 for the number that you're looking at.
All right. So sorry, John. So I rolled an 8, and then I add that to my 4 and my 5, and that's my target number.
Yes.
Or that's the number I need to beat whatever target
Yes.
number you set. Okay.
Yeah. So the 2 stats, the 2 dice, and then that's your grand total.
Okay. I got a 17.
That's
So Luca.
10.
All right, Chester and Dash, how'd y'all do?
I got a 20.
16.
All right, as everybody is moving through, Luca, you get separated.
Uh-oh.
Chester, Dash, and Raph, you don't see her around. But y'all are all going through tunnels. What is your plan at this point?
We gotta go back after Luca. I mean, they can't handle any fighting.
Yeah.
Suppose I've kept any track of who's leading us along, and if they may have also slipped off with
For the most part, it looks like everybody is staying together. But I would say I would allow a tactics check, perhaps, to try and see if y'all can find her again. Any form of skill that would deal with streetwise intentions.
Navigation ground.
I think I could let that go too. Luca, is there anything you're going to be doing in specific?
Keeping my head down, ditching whatever flamboyant jacket I'm wearing, and seeing if I have a wig in my disguise kit. Using my disguise.
Alright, so disguising up?
Disguising up, because I'm like, yeah, no, me on my own, I have a better chance of, at least looking different enough to not be noticed until I can find these jerks again.
Alright, so, Luca, go ahead and roll your disguise check. Whoever wants to lead the group as far as trying to locate her, go ahead and give me a roll at +1.
Best target number I've got. Not to get too meta. If you're between what you said, streetwise or land tactics or navigation ground,
yes.
Is best target number I've got is a 6 on that.
Same here.
Okay, go for it.
6 on navigation ground.
Yeah, go for it.
And a +3.
So,
you got a +3. Go for it.
Whoever rolls, you're at a 7. Will be the target number.
Okay, I'll roll.
And my disguise roll came out to be 9 on the dice, +2 is 11 over 6. So.
Well, that's great. We're never gonna find you now.
I mean, I can find y'all though at this point.
I rolled a 6 +3 from the skill, so I got a 9.
All right. So you exceed the difficulty. I'm going to say that you kind of double back and are checking one of the other tunnels. And all of you end up in kind of a breezeway, a large open, even though it is 20 stories of concrete, there is a rough area where several of these tunnels and alleys empty out into. And it is... chat just gave us a reroll for anybody who might need one at some point. But there is this column that is this open column all the way up 20 stories, and we'll say about 50 feet across in that area. So we're going to say that the three of you enter into it, are looking around. Luca, you are disguised, and you see them. They've come out of a tunnel, but out of a series of other tunnels on the other side come 3 individuals carrying weapons. So, at this point, we're going to say that we're going into initiative. Now, for Luca, the gunmen don't recognize you. Technically, neither does your team.
I mean, fair.
Luca's gonna get out like a little bucket of popcorn and start watching it.
So
no, Luca's about to. Okay.
Yeah. So everybody, go ahead and roll your 2d6 and max allowance. If you have your additional trait that you can add to that, some of y'all I know do have the tactics skill.
I rolled better than last time, so that's an improvement.
I think I rolled about average for last time for me, so.
I can't read this dice, so I'm going to say that it's a 1. I'm going to change out that dice.
No, make it a 6.
Try to be fair.
When in doubt, make it a 6.
Hurt me, John. Make it a 6.
Okay, you convinced me.
You're saying that because you know the rest of us are going to come to your back and cover for you.
That's right.
All right, so starting at the
Nobody
top,
wants
did
the
anybody,
moneymaker to die. Bring it.
did anybody end up going over 12?
No.
All right, so starting at 12 and going down then. 12, 11, 10.
And
All right, 10. All right,
lot of friends.
reflex. We're going to be going off of that. The enemy also rolled a 10. So that looks like we got Chester and Dash going first, and then Luca, you will be going technically at the same time as the enemy. So
What, am I the last again? What a rip.
sorry, bud. All right, so Chester, you're the one who rolled the highest, correct?
Yes, a 10 with a 5 reflex.
Yep, there we go.
Yeah. So clearly, this is not a situation where we can easily diffuse. So yeah, Magnum's coming out, and we're taking a shot.
All right. So go ahead and make your roll. Technically, what weapon are you using?
It's a Magnum.
Magnum. So you can get 2 shots off as 2 simple actions.
Nice. As far as the weapons, do they have? I mean, are they all like wielding similar weapons, or does like some dude, have a larger? I mean, have they all got pistols? They all got rifles.
We're gonna go all pistols so we can get a good combat in.
Nice.
Pretty level playing field.
Okay. Yeah. So I will. Basically, I'm gonna shoot the lead guy.
Yep. I will also say for my viewers and players, Battletech has a hit location table. We're going to skip that for this combat, and I will say that any armor that you have applies overall. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and get that rolling.
All right. Plus small arms. Looks like my target number. Ooh, that is going to be a total of 12. My target number is a 6. So
Nice.
doubled it. Whatever. That gives me something, doesn't it?
Yep. All right. You're going to be adding an extra 4 points of damage based on their roll.
Damn. All right.
So
Yeah, we're adopting the Space Invaders defense and shooting the closest ones first. So with the first shot, and that is going to be, since I doubled it, or you said to add 4, the total damage is going to be 8.
All right. And they are heavily wounded, and they are going to be trying to go for cover at this point.
Well, actually, if I can take my second shot, I can help him. He can find heavy cover of the ground.
He's gonna go 90.
Laying on the ground does provides a bonus to not be hit.
Well, and if he's dead, then it provides a bonus to us because then we shot one of their guys.
Yep.
there's less bullets coming at us.
That's going to be another 12 for the to hit roll, which same as last time. So that's going to be another 8 points of damage to the same guy. So.
All right. So he goes down, and just for fun, let's go ahead and let me find it really quick here. Why don't you go ahead and roll me 2d6?
Put him on the ground. That is going to be a 3 total, or a 2 and a 1 if you need it that way.
All right, you hit center mass in the chest and also in the shoulder. He spins to the ground, blood coming out of the wounds, kind of in a spiral. Very beautiful death as he just collapses.
Esther is all about putting a little bit of style and spin on things. Yes.
All right, Dash, you're up next.
Are the 2 that are still standing, if I have the numbers right, close together?
Yes.
So I don't know what an HE grenade is, but I think I want to throw one of those.
So that's a high explosive grenade.
Okay.
I'm gonna say,
I love
Wow.
this guy.
The other side of the
let's go for it. Hey, let's do it. Thrown weapon. I got nothing.
All right. So if I'm reading this correctly, I have 8 with a target number of 6.
There we go. All right, it lands exactly just behind him. and it will go off. But the thing is, it's also going to catch the other guy in the blast. Go ahead and tell me what the damage is on that.
That's a 10 under BD.
All right. So let's see. They both are going to take damage. Now, I think throwing a weapon, let me double check on that. That might be your whole action. Where is it? Nope. That is a simple action.
All right.
So what would you like to do with your other action? They are both they are hurt both to a certain level, but they're not out.
Is it a simple action to arm my assault rifle?
Unfortunately, no. Drawing a weapon, I believe. Let me look. Yeah, drawing a weapon is a simple action. So the game kind of
two simples, right?
Yeah, you get two simples, so you can get a gun ready.
Yeah, I'll get the assault rifle ready.
All right. And then Luca, technically you're going to be going at the same time as the enemy. You've seen this, Chester pull a gun and shoot one of these guys. You're kind of in the middle between the two parties right this moment. Bullet flies past you. Dash throws a grenade, not realizing you're there. What is it that you're going to be doing?
The moment I see the grenade, just whizzing by, I'm going to know enough to probably duck back into the hallway at the very least. But after that, I'm going to do something incredibly fun, for me at least. I'm not sure if it's going to do anything at all. But do you remember the woman in red from The Matrix?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the disguise that Luca is now wearing, taking advantage of what they were born with. And with any luck, is just going to lounge against the open hallway door going like, surely you mercenaries can do better than that.
So trying to distract them. Yeah, let's go for it.
I am distracting them. That's going to be an acting deception, correct?
Yep.
I am so glad I have a 7 in that because I rolled a 5 plus 7 is 12, which beats my target number of 8.
All right. Trying to remember. So I will say that both of them are going to lose one action looking over at you. So they will only be able to fire once each.
I mean, hey, if it distracts them, it distracts them. It gives my people a little bit better of an opportunity. As long as they don't get distracted, I'm looking at you, Chester.
All right, Chester.
I'm not promising anything.
Chester, they are shooting at you.
Perfect.
So your defense skill versus being shot.
Let's see. That is. Hold on. Where actually is that on the character sheet?
All right. Let me pull up your character sheet really quick here.
I mean, there's like an actual number.
So the way that it should work is that you're actually rolling a standard skill. If you are trying to get out of the way of the shot, you're rolling your acrobatics would be more than likely it. And
Definitely don't have that.
Oh, you don't?
Acrobatics? Negative.
Yeah.
Ghost Rider.
All right. Then you're going to end up having to roll a dexterity reflexes.
All right. And so it's both combined plus 2d6.
And let me know how much you exceed your number.
Right?
Yeah.
That is, see, 9 plus 11. That's going to be a 20.
All right. So you're going to exceed the number that over what he shot. So his target number was lower, obviously, but his target number between that and what he rolled was only 2. Oh. So you exceeded your target number by a greater amount.
Sure.
All right, and then Dash, what would you like to roll versus this? Technically, for you, it would be acrobatics base.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
There it is.
So, yeah. Acrobatics, I think you're at a 4 with a 6.
Yes, correct. So I rolled 5 plus 4 is 9. So I was 3 over my target number.
All right. They exceed it by 2. Rounding up, they're going to do 5 points of damage. Now, the way this is going to work out is that your armor... which one do you have?
Black vest.
All right, that should take 2 points of that off overall, I believe. Pretty sure.
2, 4,
for
5,
ballistic. 2. I think.
MBEX was B ballistic.
So so it takes 4 points off. Sorry.
Not bad.
Yeah. All right.
So that said, finally up to Raph.
Which I rolled an 8 on initiative. Not that it, obviously I'm last again.
Hurry up, Raph.
Yeah.
Raph,
So I don't have anything.
I will
Okay.
also say that for you, you're also now picking up that there might be more people coming down the tunnel behind where they are.
We need to get going. I think there's more coming. So what? Drop these guys and hightail it. I mean, we still got to find Luca.
Right. But hey, she looks like we should probably take her with us. I don't know if you guys saw that woman over there, but
I don't know. It's time for
Yeah,
a date.
yeah, it's never too late for a date.
Yeah, where
Right,
did
this
that
is
come
Luca.
from? I'm gonna take a shot at one of the guys. I mean, hit point wise, is there one that looks worse off than the other? Because I'll try to drop.
They're both. They both took a
Equal.
pretty good blast on that grenade.
All right, I'll just take any of them close to any of us. I'll take the closest one. That's what I'm aiming for.
Yeah, and they're both pretty damn wounded, but they had a vest that would take some of that. But
So I rolled 7, 8, so 2 over my target number of 6, and my revolver does 4 body.
all right, go ahead and roll me a. I think we're gonna go ahead and roll a where you shoot just for fun because it's why not?
You're right. So
In
just
this
1d6.
case, yeah, go ahead and give me a 1d6, or actually, sorry, 2d6.
Oh, 2d6. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, 5.
So a 5. You shoot him in the leg, but he goes down, basically cradling that leg. He's not getting up and back into combat at this point.
All right, let's drop the other guy. Let's just make sure he can't run. We gotta go. There are more coming.
All right, top of initiative, Chester and Dash. Chester, what are you going to do?
I would like to make essentially a will save of some sort to not be distracted, because I think really as a character, I think legitimately Chester would be distracted by this, because she's very attractive and looks strangely familiar, but I can't quite place the face. But he's not going to let that stop him.
Not the baby mama.
So if I'm making a check with just one attribute, it's still 2d6 plus that attribute, right?
Yep.
That would be a total of 11, but I don't know what the base target number was.
Okay,
Actually, I think it
sorry.
was 4.
You're trying to do an attribute check, correct?
Yeah.
And what is your overall goal with it?
My overall goal, success would mean I'm not distracted.
All right. And you're the one that you're rolling was intelligence and will, or just will?
I was just doing straight will.
Go ahead and add your intelligence to it as well.
Okay. So that would be 8 plus 7. 15 would be the total.
There we go.
Versus whatever the target number is.
You would exceed the target number of an attribute check at that point. It's always good to go ahead and do the 2 attributes just to make sure the balance is there.
Gotcha.
And I'm gonna say that you pull it together enough. You're like, oh, okay.
All right, no time. Yes, no time for love, Dr. Jones. So yeah, he certainly notices, but he doesn't get distracted. And I do agree. I think it is time to go. Aside from where we came out of, is there any other routes then out of here?
Several.
Okay. Jeez.
Are our guides directing us in any direction?
Your guides have kind of scattered at this point.
Yeah.
Damn it, I wish Luca's magic hand was here. We could use it as like a divining rod of some sort to point us in the right direction.
Spin the hand.
See, now that's where that spin the bottle thing would come in
There we
handy.
go.
We just need to pick the right direction. All right. So I guess continuing the direction that we were coming from, Chester is going to choose a path that, or he's at least going to make towards a path to one of the tunnel exits that is opposite of where we came out.
All
And
right.
if there is somebody to shoot at, I will. If not, then I'll maybe hold that action till somebody comes through the tunnel entrance exit.
So you could do what's called a evading movement, which would really dramatically lower anybody's ability to shoot at you. But that would take you up your whole action, or you can do a move. You can do a base run, which is going to get you across there, like right to the doorway, and then you can do another action.
I think I want to make it across and then use that action to provide any sort of covering fire for my teammates should they need it.
All right. Go ahead then and roll your TN for that.
For the covering fire?
For covering fire, yeah.
Wow. That's going to be a 14.
All right. Dash, what are you going to be doing? He's ran over there and is giving covering fire.
Where's Raph? Does Raph need support to get where he needs?
Raps, y'all can basically move as a group at this point, fairly easily.
Okay. I'd probably try to be directing the group that I'm aware of to move in a direction, but I'd be trying to bring up the rear and provide cover fire as well.
All right. So moving in cover fire as well?
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and give me your TN as well.
For using my rifle.
Yep.
So on my skills it says small arms and it says rifles in parentheses. I've got an assault rifle, so I get to do +4 and +1.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, that's a 4 + 5 is 9 over the 6.
All right. All right. So cover fire is now being given. Really, one guy falls to the ground. The guy that was out in the middle of everything. He's like, take cover, and if there are more enemies coming down the tunnel, they're not coming now. Everybody's holding back. You have the opportunity to try to get away. Luca, are you going to reveal yourself to them, run back over there or anything? How are you going to do this?
Did they go down a tunnel that's essentially on my side of the open space?
Yeah.
Is there a connecting hallway going in that direction that I saw by any chance?
Let's say yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I'm just gonna kind of shrug my shoulders, like, you guys weren't worth the energy for that. Saunter down the other hallway that I just emerged from, and then quickly cut into the side tunnel and catch up to them from behind.
Switching out the costume of the disguise on the way.
Not really, because it could be useful.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice
Who
shave
would
there,
like
Chester.
to lead the group away? I will ground. It's going to be a tactics roll to escape.
I couldn't tell.
Okay. I was gonna say I think Dash probably has the best score on that.
I believe so,
Yeah.
yeah.
We got a
Yeah,
+2 at a
as-
target of 9.
So-
Ooh.
That's what I got, so go for it.
yeah. As Luca catches
I
up, it's
think
like,
we've got a reroll in chat. Let's see. Oh, no, never mind. I rolled a 10 +2.
There you go. All right, you are 2 over what your opponents have gotten, and you manage to make your way through the slums, crossing through all the tunnels, dodging down alleyways, jumping over, trash cans and boxes. One guy kind of looks up from his pallet where he's asleep, sees all of you sailing by, and just kind of shrugs and goes back down.
You didn't see us.
Not looking.
And you escape out into the night, finding your way onto the other sides. Nearby, you hear the sounds of a subway overhead. Or I guess it technically would be elevated rather than a subway. Yes.
Yeah.
So, sounds of an elevated. The streets are active. Taxis nearby. What are y'all going to do?
Well, we did find, but Luca's here now.
Yes.
Yeah.
But your lady in red costume or disguise is still there.
For the most part. Chester, we need to work on your perception.
Don't get onto him. He just saw the pretty red dress and was like, ooh.
Oh my gosh, it's Luca. Oh
Yes.
Hey. Oh boy. Boss, I am so sorry. I just
worked in the moment. I will take what I get.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I feel dumb. Okay. Oof. I mean, it works. It's working. But oh boy.
I'd like to get out of it as soon as possible, but until we get you and the rest of us safe, it's staying on because it's a really good distraction. And I'll take what advantage I can get.
Yeah, look, yeah, exactly. And we don't need to talk to HR or anything like that. Let's just go.
Chester, the less you say at this point, the better.
All right. You know what? That's a really, really good tip. Okay, let's go.
Dash, do you have any ideas?
I like it, a post-apocalyptic world, and it's so cyberpunky that we think that there's an effective HR.
I thought that was some sort of old Earth joke. I guess I'd probably say taxi. It'd probably be harder to track us than the subway.
Would it be though? I mean, the subway would be pretty. Well, you know what? I was going to say the subway would give us people to hide in, but they've already shown that they don't care about that.
Well, I guess part of my questions would be like, how do you pay to get on the subway? Is it like a card or an implant or like?
How do you pay for a taxi?
Yeah, it'd be.
But we pay at the end there. At least someone's hacked into the subway. I don't know.
Oh, that's true. It'd be, well, then they'd know our Well, we all know where we're going. That's the next thing. Do we need to go somewhere else? Because they probably know where we're trying to get to.
The taxis pass between regions, or
tactics check on that.
A really good point.
I mean, are we assuming that base is safe?
I got an 11 over my 9 for tactics.
11 over 9. You would think that if they've lost you, they expect you to be going back to the Black Lions holdings.
So
problem getting in.
So we probably don't want to go home yet. Can we go to keep on going to the coil?
We can go to the well, yeah, we could we could go to the coil and Chester will put up his shirt sleeve. Or we did get invited to a party at the other stable.
Yeah, that's a setup for your assassination.
Yeah, isn't that?
I don't know. What's the security at the party?
But isn't that the house that is trying to kill us, possibly?
Well, it was the one that it was the ones we just beat. So, I mean, maybe I don't know. It's maybe they wouldn't go there.
All right. Is there a payphone nearby?
Yeah. There definitely is.
All right. You three stay out of sight. I'm going to see if I can hail somebody at HQ without getting hacked. That'd be nice. So I'm going to make a phone call. Like, see if who knows what, and if they've got any better directions for us, then we can come up with ourselves.
All right. You walk across the street sauntering. There are payphones, all the sounds of the city. It is almost as if things are business as normal here. Tall buildings around you, people walking by you on the street now. Things don't feel as dangerous as they did. But you pull up the phone and you call the holdings, and it's loud. There's a party going on. Obviously, the way the game works, if you're on Solaris, the tonnage of the mechs plays into what is the tonnage of your mech, what is the tonnage of their mech. Multiply that by 1,000. That's what your purse is taking home. And I'm certain that for Chris, knowing maybe how big a freaking battle master is.
Yeah. So we multiply both tonnages together times 1,000?
Yeah.
Or the difference?
That's right, it's the purse. I'll have to look at that, but I believe it's actually together.
Wow.
Armor Marauder is 75 tons.
Now, thing
Marauder's
is,
75, Battlemaster's 85. Oh, let's see.
And the stable takes 25%.
120.
Well, 85. That the purse would have been 6 mil if we did 85 times 75.
Oh,
times
sorry,
1,000.
not add. My bad.
Oh, add 1,000?
Yeah, no.
Okay, hold on.
Tonnage of the mechs 75. Added to each other, multiplied by 1,000. Sorry.
Okay, well that works. All right, hold on.
That's still pretty.
160,000 credits.
Yeah.
Well, the idea is you're going to have to pay
75K.
for repairs. You're having to pay for your lifestyle. The opportunity after a few matches to buy a new mech.
Yeah, roughly a 75,000 C-bill purse. Big money, no whammies.
And so, there is a huge party going at the Black Lions Holdings. For the most part, they're none the wiser to anything that's been going on.
That's just great.
So
They haven't even
they're
noticed
not
we're not there.
Beer, barbecue, and Battletech. So
there better be some food left if we get home.
Guy Fieri the 14th's show. So,
all right.
But they're like, have you heard the news? And you're not really picking up on it, but it's like there's a challenge. And somebody has challenged Chester.
Who's the challenge?
And it's garbled, it's breaking up. You're not able to get much out of it. But I'll say that you managed to start to make your way, whether it's by hailing a taxi, finding a station nearby. Mm-hmm. You pull up on the vid screen. There's a vid screen nearby playing current news. Mm-hmm. And the challenge that has been thrown Chester's way is from Elizabeth and Tanya O'Bannon. Now,
all right.
They are a rather interesting tale, but altogether they are the number one mech warrior on Solaris VII. Tanya and Elizabeth were ranked 1 and 2, and making their way up through the category before finally arriving at the number 1 spot. And rather than challenging her sister, they asked essentially the council if they can share the title. So together they have issued a challenge to Chester to face one of them in combat.
The O'Banion sisters? Holy.
Yeah.
It's a good opportunity. All right.
Yeah, but we're what? We just won the 10th spot?
12th.
12th spot.
The argument is that has been put forward by them is that many of the other pilots, they believe that Chester, they have, all these other pilots have underestimated Chester. And that is the only reason why he's even made it into the 20.
That is that's straight science is what that is right there.
And they have no intention of underestimating him and putting him back in his place.
Well, maybe maybe we tell them that, hey, if they want to challenge, maybe they can call off whoever's trying to kill us. Because they're not going to get the challenge if we're dead.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. That's what Luke is about to do, is like start talking to people.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get a roll in on that then. So, as a journalist, how are you going to spin this?
Hey, if you win this challenge, and I'm assuming I know that if I know what happens if there's a loss, but refresh my memory, because me as a player doesn't know what happens if there's a loss on Chester's end.
Well, if the pilot's dead, the rest of the order just kind of slides up. Otherwise, they switch positions. Right now, Chester's number 12 officially as of the win tonight. Number 13 is Adam Wiley, is now 13.
All right.
So
And
this
if-
big a jump, though, would throw the entire order
rank out the window.
Yeah, the entire order might be out the window, and it would all have to be reset if Chester won.
Yeah. Now, if Chester loses but doesn't die, just stays at 12.
Yes.
I'm assuming.
Yep.
All right. So let me see if I can make some calls here. Definitely gonna in a hopefully safe location, not with these 3 jerks again, because the less I give of their position, I'm okay, like, risking my life. I know I'm a liability more than an asset in that kind of situation. But I'm going to get them as safe as possible for making these calls.
I've been lucky on my shot rolls.
Okay, you at least have a shot roll. I only have martial arts, and I have to roll a 14 with 2d6 plus 2.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I have to do anything. That being said, I'm going to call the Abandoned Sisters management and make some deals if I can. So I am going to... I'm wondering if it would be better to use the acting skill, not deception, but the acting skill to, like, hey, if you want this match, whoever's trying to kill us has to at least calm down and go away. And, for some extended time, at least let us milk this for all it's worth. Maybe you get a better organization out of the deal, and they start paying y'all more.
Right.
I know y'all are number 1. That's not necessarily a guarantee of anything, but hey. Yep.
So what's your total roll? Well, what do you exceed your TN by?
That is that's a 7 on the die plus 6. That's a 13 over 8.
All right. It's very interesting. There is a lot of discussion going back and forth, and in fact, the management lets you know that the O'Bannon sisters had not given any input that they were going to go public with this challenge. This is a mess altogether.
So the O'Bannon sisters challenged Chester on their own without involving their own team. Yes. Is that what I'm getting? Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, no, the stable would have told them to shut the hell up, essentially. Because the O'Bannon sisters are like the headliners for the, I believe it's the Silk Glove stable. And they are like the stable for Steiner. So
Steiner again. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I'm reading the chat, and there are some fun things going on in the chat right now. But yeah. All right. Let's make some deals happen then.
All right. A date and a time is set. There's no way that they can back out of this. And you managed to arrange that Chester's life, at least this contract is going to be canceled. So, yeah.
Yeah, but if you win this Chester contract, back on.
Who knows? At that point, y'all might have enough money and enough standing to survive. But it is Solaris VII.
Let's rock some worlds without rocking our heads off of our necks.
So that said, ladies and gentlemen in chat and those of you in the audience, let's go ahead and let's pull it up. Everybody, welcome to Battletech.
Oh.
It's actually had to pull up that window. It doesn't.
This your drum roll.
Ooh.
There we go.
Ah,
Look at
hey.
that. Snazzy. Ooh, look at the little animation there.
That's
Love it.
awesome.
All right, let me go ahead and get
There's some
All right.
classic Battletech feel right now.
So, people in chat and my players, you are challenged, and you're going to be meeting specifically in Steiner Stadium. So, in fact, the Abandoned Sisters are going to abandon their Mad Cat that they are known for piloting, and they are going to take you on in an exact duplicate of your mech.
Oh,
So same
Nice.
armaments, everything?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
okay. All right.
Expecting that, but okay, let's do it.
Chester, let's see what you got.
All
Kind of
right.
hoping they would come at us in a Lotus, but hey.
So let me explain something to our audience and to our players. The map that you see on screen is a duplicate, essentially, of the map that came with the Solaris box set. If you like the maps that came with that box set, there was a recreation made. You cannot find the box set anymore. It's not on Drive-Thru RPG, but you can go on Amazon and get these maps, essentially. And that much I'm very thankful for. But the way this works is that you're going to see on the map there are numbers, a series of numbers 1 through 6. You'll also see on the map that there are floor panels that have numbers. Reason this is important is that when you walk over those floor panels, you're going to engage you're going to be end up engaging in those walls that are numbered coming up. So there are walls under the floor of the arena that will spring up, and if you are standing on the wall, you will need to make a pilot check. Otherwise, they are rank 3 in the terrain, so they do obstruct view. With that, I will also say the way this kicks off is that you will need to make 2 rolls on a d6. And this is probably done, in a big fanfare. They're like, okay, as it has always been since the ancient days, when, in the simplest games that mankind once had, with dice, you are Gunslinger Andy. Yes, this is just post Clan War era. So we are sticking to the core setting of the original box set of Solaris VII. But they give the big thing about the ludology of the D6 and the importance that it played even then, and they have you roll. So everybody, I will be rolling 2d6. Or actually, no. I'll let Dash, you roll 2d6 representing the O'Bannons, and Chester, you roll 2d6 and let me know what each number is.
So you want to know that I have a 6 and a 1?
I'm using actual Battletech dice, by the way.
Nice.
Oh,
And
I'll take it.
coincidentally, they also happen to be House Steiner Battletech dice.
ah,
I got a 2 and a 3 or a 3 and a 2, depending on how you want to call it.
Ooh, I think we lost John.
Oh, sorry.
So
Wall
wow,
number
there it
6, wall number 6, and wall number 1 are now present on the battle map.
Oh, nice.
So, and then you rolled your d6s, Chester.
Yeah, I got a 2 and a 3.
One moment.
this is really
And
cool.
there we go. You now have walls number 2 and 3 now present on the battle map.
Nice.
I'm going to say, Wrath, Roll a d6.
All right. 5.
You are in Mech Bay number 5 on the map that I sent you earlier. They are actually right next door in Mech Bay number 4. Neither one of you will have a penalty or of speed going out the door to confront.
Okay.
All right.
So, with that said, I have given out the sheets already to my players for this, for where the mechs are going to be going, what their speed are, and everything else. I know that my audience cannot see that, but we do have it. Let me go ahead and pull that up really quick. Essentially, we're going to finish this game out on a mech combat.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, starting off, Chester. And trust me, guys, I have things for my other players to do. Just wait and watch.
Nice.
Chester, what are you going to be doing?
Okay. So, hold on. I got to get back.
I'm also to explain your. I know that it's not on the sheet, but I am also turning up the speed of your mech. Your speed is now a 6, so your speed is 6 points rather than the common 2, because 2 is boring.
So am I green or red?
You are going to be green, and I'm going to say that something you notice as you come out the door
Is what?
your view is obstructed and you have no radar.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Raph, I'm fine. I'm walking blind here. I think either they killed the radar or something else is going on. Did you check it beforehand?
Yeah,
Sorry,
we checked everything.
I'm really nervous, man.
It was all in green. And is there something I can roll, John, to see if it's something interfering with it or a malfunction?
You can actually go ahead and see what with electronics to see what's going on, because obviously they have done somebody's hacked.
Right. All right. So target for me electronics is 9. Is it still 9?
Yes.
Okay. Ooh, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
All right. Radar comes back up. And they are on the move.
You got it?
I got it.
Yeah, they're jamming us, so let me know if it happens again. We're gonna have to do this stuff on the fly.
All right, we'll do. Okay. All right, girls, let's go. And he is going to charge basically straight forward 3 hexes and then cut to the right. He's going to try and run right down the center of the X that is being formed by those walls.
All right, so you're running ahead 3 spaces, you said?
Yeah, 3 spaces, and then he will he'll do a hex side turn, and then finish off with 2 more spaces. If that makes sense. I'm used to doing this in Roll20, and I want to grab the mech and like point and hold. To say, I'm gonna go here.
It would be semi easier, and when you get to, because if you are running MechWarrior Destiny in 2 weeks, correct?
Yes.
I will get that set up for you. We'll have a similar layout to this, but we will actually have, rather than this map in the center, I'll make it to where we can use Roll20.
Remind me to talk to you about that when we're done. As far as the setup part, I know, not to sound like Chester, but I know a guy who could help us.
You got it. I've done it before. I just didn't take the time for it this time. I'm only player savvy on Roll20. I'm not run savvy.
All right, yeah, he's looking. He's just waiting.
And let me double check something here, because technically, it did not go off yet. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm probably walking right on that wall.
Yeah, let me pull that up really quick here.
And I may be thinking too complex for what we're doing, but we're not worried about like elevation for shots or anything, correct?
Not this
Just
time.
line of sight and
Now, technically, if you do succeed in your pilot roll, if one of these walls goes up, you can stay on it and be firing from an elevated position.
Nice.
And because of where you walked... 1 second. I know that there is a trigger underneath you.
Uh-oh.
Or actually, no, did you go down straight down the center? So you're technically on top of where the wall is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Never mind. You did not trigger it.
Nice.
All right.
Because something somewhere around.
Nobody's
there.
shooting, so everybody's moving. But before we get to that, Dash. If you want, give me a tactics roll, and I'll change. If you can give me at a +2, I'll let you increase Chester's movement 1 more point on this round. So, because you are talking, and I know I say basically a lot. So one of my little things I'm trying to cut out, but you have the opportunity to add +2. I'll let you increase his movement once. So that is a tactic. You're able to help him get, eke out his the power of this mech a little bit more.
I rolled double sixes. Is there any kind of crit or anything on a double six?
I will let you go ahead and give him 2 more points of movement. Where do you want to go, Chester?
Ooh, I am. You know what? I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna go straight ahead too.
So right to the edge of that wall, or you're
I
going.
no.
Yep.
I would be heading in the southeasterly direction. 2 more heads.
There we go. All right. So you have taken off across this arena. Whatever it is that they're doing, you're not sure. But you do have them back on radar. I'm going to say, Luca, they're in the pit nearby, not too far away. And go ahead and give me a perception check.
All right. Company all been lucky all night. 8 on the dice plus 4 is 12 over 6.
All right. They don't. The pit crew is not really responding, as if you would almost think that they think that they may have pulled one over on your team, and they are not aware that your radar is back up.
Nice.
Nice.
So going
So that
back,
means I'm not allowed to stance then. Cool. So go ahead.
all right, going back over with Chester. What are you going to do?
And so I know where they are because of now that the radar's back up.
Yes, you do.
All right. You know what? I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going straight ahead. So southeast, full movement again, just charging straight down that way. And I want to. My goal is to eventually come around the corner of the easternmost wall and take a shot at them, as long as they're not moving.
All right, so you're going to continue in that direction. 6
Yep.
movements.
Yeah.
That should have you there.
All right.
All right. That said, Raph. Let's say, because I don't think you should be generating that much heat right now with your mech.
They shouldn't be with just running.
Yeah.
Not, yeah.
Right.
So,
Well,
right
I
this
mean,
moment,
are you even? We're not even running. We're just walking it, correct?
No, I would. I'm actually would be going my full movement, so I would be
Oh,
running.
okay. Okay, yeah, but you're still your heat sinks are compensating fine at this point.
but
Yeah.
more than enough.
I mean, how do we feel? Do we want to try and jam their radar, or are we going to play it legit?
Hey, I say if you know that they did that to us, I say you do it right back to them.
See if you can do it subtly, but go for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and, if I can, John, try and jam their radar.
All right.
I hit my target of 9. I rolled a 5 plus 4, 9.
I'm gonna say it's not terribly subtle, but to them, all of a sudden they are running around trying to figure out what's going on. And you see that their pit crew are, several people in the pit crew are obviously calling out.
All right, it's jammed. It wasn't my best work, but turnaround's fair play at this point.
I think it was just a gentle nudge. Maybe it'll do us better. Who knows?
If we can get in position in time, he can take a shot, and they won't have radar to guide their shots.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a good thing. Let's teach him a lesson.
Yeah.
What do you think, Dash?
Yeah, let's take this for us.
All right. Dash. Go ahead and give me a check really quick. Tactics.
I got only a 6 under my 9. I think we've got a reroll floating around.
You do.
We want to use it.
So go for it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chat.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, that's my mistake on there. I got your name changed over on the primary layout for Dash. That's actually Phil. Will was not able to be here today, so so Phil was filling in for him.
I mean, Phil and Will, it's close enough, right?
Pretty close.
I'm ill. I rolled a 6 plus 2 is 8, so I still didn't get there. 17.
No.
All right. I would have let you either get some movement in on him or give him a bonus based on weaponry that going in for what's going to be happening soon. They don't know currently where Chester is, but they sidle up against a wall and kind of are pointing the direction they think he's going.
Alright.
So you get one more round of movement going. I'm gonna also say, Luca, you're gonna get a call. You're starting to get calls in from different sponsors, and they're asking for Chester to go ahead and shoot off both PPCs as soon as he can together.
Hey, if he thinks he can do it.
They want a big explosion on that first point of contact.
Mm-hmm.
Something to raise the excitement, because right now they're not, people are watching and not much is happening.
Yeah. Hey, if you can get those PPCs in that first shot, go for it.
Oh, you don't have to tell me twice, boss.
Watch the heat on that.
Chester.
Watch the heat on that. You've been running and firing off both PPCs at the same time is going to kick a lot of heat.
I'm
The
on it.
win's more important than the flashy, Chester.
That's right. Don't worry. I got this. Hey, come on, guys. It's me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
The wording was as soon as you can, not as soon as it's going to disable your mech.
I'll
All
give
right.
him a show.
Chester, what are you going to do?
So Chester is going to basically slide, would be 2 hexes to the northeast. So he's like resting kind of right at the corner of that wall, where it angles. And I'm hoping that the sisters are going to come around the wall. So I want to be, almost like I'm leaned up against the wall, guns pointed in a held action. So as soon as they round that corner, I can shoot straight down that line of that wall and nail them.
Nice.
All right, 1 second here. About like that when it shows up for you.
I have to wait for Twitch to catch up, but I'll say a proactive yes. And then I'll either be correct or I'll just say yep, yeah, just like that, right on.
All right.
So I can you bet.
Do we have any more movement for you to scoot down a little bit? Because I'm afraid that you're going to be too far and you're going to get a penalty of those first shots.
I do, yes. Although it should still be short range,
Okay.
so I should be okay. But hey, this is a team effort. So if I feel it's going to be short range, let me put it this way to you, John. If I feel I'm going to be in the short range category, that's where I'll be. But if I need to move up to get short range, I will do so.
Let me think. Based on this, the movement, I am saying that you are in short range.
Perfect.
Because the increase in movement, I'm considering this. The arena is the hex space is going to be a little bit smaller.
Okay. Cool.
And right off the bat, guess what?
Yeah, he's got the guns up and he's got his little targeting reticule. He's just waiting for where he thinks the Marauder profile is going to come around that corner.
All right, she's going to come around the corner, and as she goes around the corner, part of the walls begin to descend and disappears.
Ooh, nice.
So the one behind you drops.
Does the base drop with it? Sorry.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay, that one drops. All right, sweet. Yeah, so as soon as she comes around, I am yeah, it's gonna be I'll have kind of like mentally programmed where it's gonna go, and so the arms on the Marauder are down. And then just as soon as she comes around, it just one by one, they just kind of click up whoop, whoop, into position. And the dual lightning bolts of the and Battletech hardliners, yes, I know that it's not really lightning bolts, but that's what the fiction says. So, if you come and face me in the arena, bring it in the arena, bring it in here. Anyway, but no, I will shoot both PPCs, and I'm going to follow it up also with the AC-5 as an afterthought.
Nice.
All right.
All right.
All right.
And
so,
also at the same time, Raph, they were doing something else, and one of the other walls began going up.
Oh no.
Yeah, the pit was doing something.
hacking the walls.
Chester, hold on. The pit's doing something. Their team's doing something. They're messing with the walls.
Chester,
oh no!
you definitely
coming
see
up
it.
right next to me.
You're in a corridor. You're in a kill box. Okay, so if I want to jack with the walls on this turn, what do I need to roll?
Electronics again.
Electronics still? Okay. Ooh, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's 3 over... Wait. 5, 6, 7, 11. So that's 2 over 9.
All right, 2 over 9. You're going to make it for this round. It looks like they're already trying to counter you. What are you going? What did you want to do? Do you want to drop that wall back down, or do you want to mess with something else?
Can I time it so that Chester can get his shots off, and then I can try and pop a wall up between him and the sisters?
Unfortunately, all the walls are active currently where you are. The
Okay.
most you could do is on their next round, maybe drop whatever wall they try to hide behind, unless they come after Chester.
All right. Well, I'm gonna drop the. I'm really bad at directions. So above where Chester is, I want to drop the wall on his left, so he's got an escape if he needs it.
Yeah, sorry about Nightbot. That's an automatic thing that Twitch No BS does. I'm sorry about the demand for no all caps.
No, it's fine. I was just doing a Randy Savage rant in the wrestling arena format. So,
all right.
I was being in character in the chat, basically.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and get your attack rolls done then.
All right. Do you want me to roll one universal roll for all 3 weapons, or do you want me to break it out by each one?
Let's speed this up and let's let me ask you, how do you feel? Do you want to go and make it all one roll?
Here's how I would think it would go. I would think it would be 2 rolls. I think it would be 1 roll for the twin PPCs coming at them, and then a separate roll then for the autocannon 5 as the follow up. Sort of the metal folding chair to the first suplex of the PPCs.
I like it.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
And
go ahead.
I hate to say it, but at this point, initiative is also going to take cover whose goes off first. So go ahead and give me an initiative really quick.
All right. Do you want me to just use the roll I did for initiative, or do you want me to save that gunnery roll?
Your choice.
Is it good? Save the gunnery roll.
You're the GM. I mean...
Well, let me put it this way. Right this moment, they have rolled an 8 for their base initiative.
And that's my... Okay, well, they've beaten me by 1, so yeah, I'll just save this roll for later. And
I'm about telling the stories. I'm all about, hey, let's get the players. Let's have something happen.
Actually, you know what? No, I get tactics land on this, so I actually have a 9. So yeah, no, we'll go with that.
Awesome. All right,
and you have a reroll on the table too.
Yeah, thank you, Jenna.
He's got a couple of.
Yeah, I want to save that for when I miss with both of these shots, which is exactly what's going to happen. So, I traditionally, when it comes down to it in Battletech situations, I don't really roll well. So, all right. So here come the twin PPC rolls. We'll roll. Yeah, and that is, I'm not even going to reach my target number with that. So since this is definitely the more damage causing attack, I would love to use one of those rerolls.
All right, go for it.
All right. That is better. That is going to be an 8. It beats my target number of 7. So the twin PPCs, both of them crack off one after the other and hit the sister's mech.
All right. Now, I believe that the roll is done versus their piloting. So, you did succeed.
Solaris? Yeah, go for it, man.
So, they have exceeded their target number by 5. What did you exceed yours by?
1.
All right. So, your shot slams into the wall just past them. Unless you want to try to go for something else. Did you want to go ahead and shoot off that autocannon? Do you want to shoot for a reroll?
You know what? No. I'll shoot I'm going to shoot the autocannon. I'm about to make Raph very upset at me. So we're going to do because we're going to go full alpha strike on this. So the autocannon goes off. And that is going to be I exceeded my target number by 3 that time.
All right. And I actually went ahead and re-rolled based on what they on the situation, and they only exceeded by 1. So I think if you're going to use a re-roll, they have to re-roll too.
Sure. So that autocannon is a hit for 2 damage, and then I got the 2 medium lasers, which would also be a paired thing as well.
All right, let's roll off. Let's get all that damage in location.
You want the location first?
So which one are? Let's go down the list of what you got. Yeah.
Okay. You want me to use here? I got my mech sheet up, so I'll tell you where I hit it. That is a 6, so that's right square in the chest. The autocannon just rattles off as rounds just and nail it for 2 points, dead center. And now we'll do the paired medium lasers. I'm going to exceed my target number by 5 on that one.
Nice.
All right, and they did not make their target number, so that's going to be an additional point of damage on top of whatever happens.
Ooh, even better. All right, so that is going to be also in their torso again, and that's going to be 5 more points of damage. So we did a total of 7 points in that torso, which is pretty good, actually.
That's great for a first.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'm pretty warm. At this point.
I would think so. They are as they go past, they are going to go ahead and shoot off their PPC towards you. So go ahead and make a pilot check.
Hold on, I gotta get to my sheet.
Like I said, I'm known for rolling abysmally sometimes.
I like the sound of that.
They don't even make their TN.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
I beat mine by 5, so.
I mean, technically they would make their TN, but no. Yeah. All right, so that shot does not go off. I will say that they try and shoot with their AC really quick. So continue that pilot roll. This one is going to hit, or they will exceed their TN by 3.
And I also exceeded by 3.
All right, so I always say push goes to my players. It slams into the wall just past you, and you have not taken any damage.
Nice.
Continuing on though, we're now that is your attack. We've done our move. We're on to our next round. So movement is first for the mech.
I am going to basically back straight up and around the corner, and I'm only going to be able to maybe go. I'm sitting here looking at the sheet to see what my heat is, but I'm going to think I'm only going to be able to go back about 3 squares or 3 hexes total.
So if heat would be 4 or 5, you dissipate 3, so you're at 2 heat right now.
Yeah, and how that translates in here, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
In the in regular Battletech I could tell you, but in this one I could not.
Well, we are doing a kind of amalgamation of both Destiny and A Time of War, because A Time of War, the mech combat really doesn't gel for me quite as well as Destiny does. But I will say, just to simplify, Raph, make a mechanics check really quick.
Okay. Excuse me. Okay. 6, 7. I rolled 11 again. So that's 2 over my 9.
All right, you're going to end up dissipating that 1 more point of heat for him.
Over the radio, I'm going to be like, all right, I've got you covered. I bypassed some coolant into the PPC guns, so we're bleeding off some heat. You're fine. You're good.
Esther, he spits out his air. He's already chewed through one of his toothpicks, and so as he's grabbing the other one that's tucked into the inside of his neurohelmet, he's like, "Good, because it's really hot in here."
Well, if you keep firing off the PPCs and the lasers, I'm not saying get in melee range, but maybe autocannon this next round.
Yeah, all right, talk to Luca. She said the sponsors wanted me to make a big strike.
Well, I get that, but we got more battle to go through.
Choose your shots first.
All right, and this brings up an important point. There's a wall between you now. You would not be able to normally fire on each other. Which actually, one moment, she made a turn. Just a second. I have to double check which she went over another point on the map. All right, just a second here. Oh, this might make your day.
Uh-oh. I like the sound of that.
So the wall to your left goes down.
Ooh. That makes things a little easier.
All right. So, movement is going to be your next situation if y'all didn't... I'm going to say this. Raph, you could have lowered the wall between you. But that would also mean that more heat for Chester.
Yeah, I think we're going to wait on that. I think if we want to unload on them, we're going to need to get rid of the heat we have right now. So I think if we sit tight, let her move, then I can try and drop the wall between you guys next time.
You can drop the wall between us?
I can try to.
All
I mean,
right.
they're doing it, so I should be able to figure it out.
Got it.
All right, so we're back to movement again.
All right. I'm trusting him on this one, so I'm just gonna go up or go southwest two hexes. I keep saying squares. I should know better. I've played this game for years. It's like I'm 8. Anyway, I'm gonna go southwest 2 hexes, and I'm gonna prep all the weapons again. Just wait.
So moving right into that corner.
Yeah, right into the corner, tuck myself in there, and then I'm gonna once again just try and mentally think where that body's gonna be, that mech body's gonna be.
All right. Setting your mech there, you're going to do a trigger. One moment.
Oh no. Don't destroy my mech. Mech is my mech.
Okay. Should be all the transitions are done now. Did that change anything?
We'll find out here shortly. There's
Yep.
like about a 12-second delay. Ooh, yep, something came up.
See a V up there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that other wall came up.
That's our victory V.
Yeah.
All right, and she is moving into position as well.
Man, I hope that wall comes down.
I hope it does too.
Are you sure?
You know, they might have their radar back by this point. Let's not,
Oh, that's going to be point blank too.
Oh boy, yeah.
All right. So, the neat thing is that if you did it right, I'm going to say this. If you do it right, and you've gotten some heat dissipation, and you make this work at the right timing, you shoot before her.
Nice.
This could
Okay.
be the big moment. Do you want to take it?
Oh, hell yeah, I want to take it.
I think everybody,
Internally, as a character, Chester is absolutely terrified of this battle, but he absolutely is just so if he can get a knockout blow early on, so then he can go throw up later, he is absolutely going to go do that.
All right. Raph, are you going to let him get away with it?
Oh yeah, I'm going to help. I mean, if everybody's on board for this to go down, I'm on it.
Dash. Make
Yes.
a roll on tactics for him. Give him a bonus.
Oh, buddy.
2 over.
Yeah.
Do over.
No, sorry, 2 over.
Oh, two
Oh,
over.
two
I was like, oh
over.
no.
So like, oh no!
Just like, yeah, take all the do-overs you need, man. Just yeah.
All right. I don't suppose we have a reroll on the table in case I roll bad, do we?
We have one that I'm aware of.
Okie dokie. Here goes.
I'm keeping track of them if I can.
I need to take a picture of this. That's 12 plus 4, so 16.
You roll double sixes.
I rolled double sixes.
Hell, freaking yes.
All right. I'll let you choose. What were you trying to do?
Drop the wall so that he can get the shots off.
I'll let you drop the wall, and you also managed to lower his heat sinks 1 more point.
Rain hell down on them. That's all you hear.
Alright.
That's all you hear over the radio is rain hell down on them. I hit the button and let's watch the magic.
All right. Let me pull up the sheet to make sure we got everything we're supposed to have in those numbers. because we got a point blank shot going off.
Mm-hmm.
So 1 second here. Point blank. I think you are at a.
I do have a penalty. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna say this. They're gonna be surprised. So +2.
Nice.
And with a point blank, where is it on here? Do you remember what the point blank one is? There's
Point blank,
oh, there
yeah.
it is. It's +1.
Yep. Oh, okay. Well, but because of the type and because of the types of weapons, the PPC and the AC5, there's a -2 on as it's listed on the mech sheet.
Okay.
So, but with the surprise and then that you gave me, and what was the other one you gave me? So you gave me basically a net of +2, right?
Right.
Well, you're getting
So you got regular
plus.
rolls.
You're getting a +2 for the surprise. You're getting a +1 with Dash giving you on tactics.
Right. Okay.
Ooh.
So +1 net is what we're getting on this.
Yep.
All right, we'll do the same trio of rolls because he's gonna alpha strike again. Okay.
And then maybe follow it up with a punch for style.
Well, I was actually but I would have to be a kick. But yes, that is 100% what's gonna do.
Got another one just now in chat.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Ooh.
So here's the PPC one. These are the ones we really want to have hit.
Mhm.
That is going to be 8 plus 3, so it's 11. So I beat my gunnery by 4.
All right.
Sorry if you're hearing my dog in the background.
And they get a penalty to roll with their surprise. You are going to exceed them by 2.
Nice. So that is a straight up hit.
Round
And
up
that is
on your damage 1 each. So add another 1 on each weapon.
All right. So it'll be total of 8 damage here. That is going to hit them in their that's going to be in their left arm 7 points or 8 points, which actually look good judging by the mech sheet. That should go internal.
That goes internal.
Let's see if I get one critical. I need an 8 or better to get a critical hit. I did not. So, but I ripped all the armor off that arm, as it's just this blue bolt just these blue bolts rake all over it, tearing away all the armor. All right, the AC5 at a +1 as well is going to. I beat my target by 5 for the second shot.
Nice.
Okay. You hit. Sorry, they completely whiffed on that one.
That's all right. I
So
like hearing that.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't. What did you exceed by?
I exceeded by 5.
All right, so round that one up to actually +2.
+2, then that's going to give them 4 points right in their torso.
So they got like 1 left.
They should be pretty near the end in the chest there as well. Yeah,
There's one more point in the chest,
one more
before we
point
go
in the
internal.
chest before you're internal on them.
that's
Come
good.
on, lasers.
I've got one more roll to go here with the with the lasers. Wow. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I beat my target by 8.
Woo. They're not going to keep up. They beat it by 3.
Nice. Okay.
Come on, chest. Come on, chest.
Come on, Chester.
How much were you going to get into the 4?
And that'll be an extra 2 points of damage on whatever this weapon is.
All right, so this is going to be, I rolled a 7, which is their chest. And so that's going to be, you said 2 points damage, so that's an extra 6 total points of damage.
All right, and this is the fun point.
So you did 5 internal damage to their torso.
Yeah, baby.
Roll a d6.
That's going to be 5.
All right, engine shielding has now just gotten damaged. They're going to gain 1 point of heat every second.
Like that?
And their second, this is bad for them.
Can I sweep the leg?
Yeah,
I stole that from Jane in chat, but sweep the leg.
Can I sweep the leg? Yeah, sweep the leg, Johnny. Get him a body bag.
All right.
Take him down, Chester.
Right, here we go. Oh, this doesn't use gunnery. Or would this use gunnery, or would this use piloting?
I think
Piloting.
it uses pilot. Yeah.
Sorry, it's gonna. There
And
we
with
go.
all those penalties.
I only beat my target number by. Oh, I got a +1. I beat my target number only by 2 on this.
All right. You have beat them. They beat their target number by 1.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Make it look good.
You know what? I don't know in this abstract system how much damage a kick does. I'm gonna say it's probably, my guess would probably be somewhere around like the 4 point.
It's saying 5 on the sheet.
So
Is it? Oh,
yeah, it's
yeah.
3/5. So 5
Yeah,
for the
if I
kick.
actually look at the actual sheet and read it, all of a sudden, yeah, there it is right there. So I know my mechs. Yeah, 5. How does Battletech?
How Battletech do I do?
All right. So location.
I'm imagining it's got to be in one of the legs, right?
Technically,
You
but
might be able to get your leg up that high.
Well, I mean, I don't know. This is Solaris. Maybe there's, something that there's like a little platform I could
I'm
post.
saying
off
let's
of
have some fun. Let's do it. Just get that one
Right.
in there.
Why not?
Roll
Let's,
roll those dice. Let's get that hit in. I
I'm
know
gonna
there is
actually-
a kick table, but I don't have it in front of me right now. And I don't want to go find it.
I'm gonna kick him in their right arm for 5 points of damage.
Do you tear the arm off?
I thought their left arm was.
No, there was a left one that I.
Oh, was it the left one? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you're just adding insult to injury by,
I
crippling their arms.
Yes.
Okay, not that the right one's crippled yet, but hey.
They're firing back.
Okay, good. They should, and well, they should. Really. I mean,
So they exceed their TN by 4 on their PPCs.
and I'm ruling opposed with piloting, right?
Yes.
That is going to. I also exceeded mine by 4.
Goes to players. You know me. It slams
Okay.
into the far side wall of the arena, going past you.
Bastards on fire
AC.
today, man.
So on this one, they're exceeding it by 2.
And they're gonna get me on this one. I didn't even make my target number.
No, we do
Oh, no,
have to reroll.
I just made my target number.
Yeah, we do have a reroll.
Okay.
Do you want to
Do
reroll?
we want to use it for this?
I
We
mean,
have 3 of them
wait,
currently.
is this the autocannon?
Yes. It's not
That's
that bad.
2 points of. Huh?
It's not a
sorry?
bad hit. I mean, that's
Yeah, it's
So
2
they-
points of damage.
plus
I'll-
another
I'll-
one
actually, I'll
for the
take
for
this
their
one.
rate of success.
Yeah.
I'll still take it because because I want to save it if they try and also kick me.
All right, so that's that'll be 3 points of damage. Let's get to that location in. Location is an 8, which is your torso.
All right.
We're good.
Yep.
I'm on the radio.
And-
You're fine. You're good. Damage. Your structure's
Medium
good.
lasers. They are 2 over on their target number again.
And let's see. I am going to be 5 over on my target.
All right. So the medium lasers glance away. It's a glancing blow. Doesn't do anything. Just leaves a little bit of carbon.
Nice.
So,
It'll buff out.
Totally Neoing as I'm dodging all this stuff.
all right, and they will go for that punch.
Oh, all right. Bring it.
They are only at that point. They're only at 1 over.
And I'm at 2 over.
There you go. So they punch, trying to kind of butt you with the end of their PPC, trying to knock you away, and it doesn't work. So at this point, everybody is glued to the screens. I'm gonna say nobody's really doing much else, movement-wise. They want to try and move away from you, obviously. But what are you going to do? I mean, it's-
Chester is going to take a free action to disbelieve his good fortune. He's going to fail and realize that he actually did get that lucky against the Albanian sisters. remember that there's a camera in his cockpit that's transmitting, so he'll take a moment to mug for the camera and give a little wink, a Tom Cruise-esque wink as he spits out his second toothpick and grabs a third. And then he is, I'm probably still pretty hot now because I just alpha striked again. He'll basically, he's going to sidestep to the right. Probably, I'm sure at this heat level, he can only go about maybe 2 hexes tops. So that is what he will do.
So you were at 4, you dissipated 3, so you're at 2 heat right now.
2 heat right now, yeah. And so I'm sure that's got to translate to somewhere to at least a -1 for the movement point, I would
Just
imagine.
about.
If you won, you're not going to be able to shoot the PVCs next round.
No. Yeah, I think I think you're right.
All right. So what are you going to do?
I'll still sidestep a couple of steps because I've still got I'll still be in range with the medium lasers and the autocannon, and the autocannon doesn't generate any heat as far as that goes. So.
But you're basically, are you trying to stay with them? Are you moving away from them?
Oh yeah, totally. No. I want to keep the gap, or close the gap, or make the gap not nearly as wide as they're hoping to make it.
All right, we're gonna move it here then.
It's me explaining things in a clear and
concise way.
And it's going to be firing again. So let's go ahead, Phil. Give him some tactics. Luca, you're getting a call. They want an in-cockpit interview during the match.
I can't guarantee that. Yeah, no, and distract him while he's on his winning streak.
How many seagulls?
Yeah.
How many? Yeah, how many Seabills? Because it's got to be worth the loss.
They can't float the loss, but they'll give you 5K.
Okay, how much is it's calculated by? Because I have to do some math here now. Yeah.
Basically, let's go ahead and do a negotiations roll.
Yep.
If you actually want to do this, otherwise, just try and tell him no. We're having some. He can't talk right now. He's on the line with. You can list off some bigger competitor of theirs.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with if I don't make this negotiation roll. But now I'm gonna go ahead and make the negotiation roll. With Chester's input, would this be something that you think would distract you too much?
Probably, but at the same time, he probably at this point is feeling a little cocky, so that he'd be okay with it.
Okay, that did land cocked. That's a 7 on the die for my negotiation plus 5. Beats my target number of 8 for sure. I just had to do the math on that. That's 12 over 8.
All right, they'll double it. And if you mention that he's on the radio with a competitor, there it's like if you boot them and let us in, we'll double it.
So doubling the original double. Yeah, we'll take that.
Which of course doesn't exist. So yeah, Chester, you're getting bombarded with questions all of a sudden. Chester,
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Chester, right now, what the audience wants to know is, and they are starting to ask you just random questions like, what do you think of what happened to this pilot here? And right now, you're in the cockpit going up against the Albanian sisters. Do you think that it had anything to do with the fact that they did not choose to face you in their own mech?
Hey, look, they're the ones who issued the challenge. I'm just answering the call. They want to face me this way. To me, this determines who really is the best. I mean, it's an even competition. Well, and actually, you're looking at their mechs or their mech. It looks pretty uneven right now.
So,
I mean, hell, I can look through their chest and I can see the other side of the stadium from where I'm sitting.
Go ahead and give me a charisma will roll.
Charisma will. My charisma will.
Oh,
fail.
sorry, not. Yeah. Sorry.
That will. Wow. So my will is a 4, my charisma 4, and I also rolled 2 4s, so 16.
All right, you are 3
Dang.
over the difficulty. They're not rattling you at all. In fact, you are just talking. You're talking some smack.
Nice.
And yeah. That
Yeah,
said,
he's making like your mechma jokes instead of your mama jokes and that kind of stuff. And yeah.
all right, let's
Back
get
just a
those
little there, Chester.
let's get those attack rolls in.
Yeah, so I'm assuming I am too hot to probably use the PPCs, so we'll use the AC5 and the lasers on this.
The good news is, you hear me over the radio, the good news is they're just as hot as you are, so they're not using their PPCs either.
Actually, that is good news. I'll take it. That is going to be 6 over my target for the AC5.
All right, you exceeded theirs by 3, so you're getting a +1 with your damage.
That's going to be 3 points then of damage. It's going to go in their torso.
Oh,
And there ain't much left in there.
There's not.
oh.
Roll me a d6.
Love to.
That's
I'm going to get a 3 on that one there, boss.
All right, let me find that table.
Plus, they had an engine shielding hit last time, too.
they had 3 points left on the
I was about to say, I don't think they have
structure.
anything left.
All right. Their gyro is damaged, and their piloting is now going to be at a -2.
Nice.
So, there is an argument happening next door, in the next bay over, and that is whatever is happening though, Bannons don't want to fold. They want to stay in, but their pit is telling them it's over. Their pit is like, no, it's over. One more hit and it's done, and you're not going to be able to bleed any more hitting. Your piloting is down. You're not scoring anymore.
Luca, if they want to date me, that's fine.
Let's not go quite there just yet, but hey, if they yield, I'll wear that red dress at the next press conference you want me to.
Oh man, that would make things all kinds of awkward for me.
All right. So at this point, I mean, the mech is kind of limping along, and I'm going to leave it up to the pilot in this moment. You can either try and talk them out of continuing. You can pilot to pilot, or you can make that shot.
Oof, boy. Jeez. So Chester will probably, because now I mean, like legit, he was very nervous at the start of this, and then the sudden rush of success has kind of now flipped things for him. So he probably will. He's gonna like do a little bit of like taunting sort of walking, and then I think, oh man. Yeah, you know what? He's got to do it. He's got to. He'll private channel him and he'll say, "Look, ladies, I'm sorry. Under normal circumstances, you know what? There'd probably be the casual surrender, but this is the arena, baby, and you're going down." And then he will. Yeah, he will. I mean, not a cockpit shot, of course, but he'll basically rip the other arm off of their mech, which will effectively take out. Leave them with just the autocannon at that point. And then raise up his mech arms in celebration.
All right, we're actually going to go ahead and narrate that because we're really close to our time on this. But yeah, you reach out and pull the arm off their mech. You kind of have to, because of the design of this mech, you kind of have to wrap your arms around it and yank.
Nice.
It's not that you have the moving digits on this one, but you yank those arms off, or that arm off, and hold it up in the air, and it's like the audience, the arena goes silent, almost like everybody inhales at the same time, and then it explodes in calls and yells and applause. So much so that you're pretty sure people like on the other side of Solaris can hear it.
Nice.
But everybody, you start getting bombarded with calls. Luca, you've never had your lines so busy. And the person from the other team will actually walk over and ask if you're hiring. Their press agent wants to know, are you hiring? Because we're probably all out of a job.
Considering we just made history, I might need that assistance. Keep you in mind. Over the comms, Chester. How does it feel to make history, by the way?
I don't tell anyone, but I may have wet my cooling suit.
Either way,
You
you're
just
buying
say
me
he's
drinks
going to
tonight.
Raph, he damaged the power coupling lines to the PPC when he yanked their arm off.
It's fine. It's worth it. We're on top.
And Dash, there is way too much going on. Everybody is cheering and going crazy. The other Black Lions are just losing it. How are you going to react?
I'll probably, open up the line that's between the four of us, or whatever, and be like, Chester, I got to give it to you on that one. You did all the right moves.
Ho, ho, ho. Now, you know what? I got to give it right back to you. If you hadn't been helping me where to go, I definitely wouldn't have gotten some of those shots without your help, man. You got us here. You got us here.
We work together. We can do anything.
All right.
Hell yeah. Tell Luca to take that hand out and give herself a high five.
You're still buying all the drinks tonight.
That I will.
And we're going to call it to a close with the camera fade out. The crew, of course, splashing everyone with champagne. And somebody handing someone a trophy and saying, "You're all right, kid." Because that's got to happen. It's 80s games deserve an 80s movies line.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, and we are going to call it there for the night. So that is Battletech Solaris VII. I hope everybody had a wonderful time. I will say, I am not a technical GM. This is a technical game. This is a game that has, 40 years of people who have been absolutely in love with it. And I will go ahead and say, if you want to see somebody run it better technically than me, go watch Zombie Orpheus Entertainment's, I think it's called Death from Above. It was 2 seasons. It was absolutely wonderful. People all standing around a game table and in costumes running Battletech. So if that's something you want, go check it out. I hope you had a good time. I hope I told an entertaining story. And come on back in 2 weeks and watch Chris take us into MechWarrior Destiny. So that said, is there anything anybody wants to say before we sign off?
Thanks for running an awesome game.
Yeah, thank you for running an awesome game. This was amazing.
All right. Well,
I had
guys,
fun.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Enjoy. Stay safe out there. Stay warm. And come on back and join us when we, I guess tomorrow, go back into the 1920s and face down Eldritch Horror.
And Evil Fezzes.
Night, everyone.
Night, y'all.